Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone on YouTube. I forgot to hit the live button. All right, so complete apologies. All right, so little late start. Okay, forgot to hit the live button, so critical error on my end. But if you're just jumping in, welcome to the Most Value Pack Live Trading Show, where we live trade, break down charts, for high impact events. We did take some profits on SoFi for about 23%. First idea was Nvidia above that 210.94. So as you're coming in, guys, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe. Okay, so just had a small mental error there. I just forgot to hit the live button. All right, as you're coming in, let's go and make sure to like the video. Let's get the likes up. 100 likes, we'll do the giveaway. All right, if you can see the stream on YouTube, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up in the chat. It looks like we're having some, for some reason. Should be live on YouTube. Can someone confirm, guys? Any strikers? Are we live on YouTube? So it looks like it's good on my end. Oh, thank you for letting me know, JK. I just saw that message. So we should be live now. And you don't take Nvidia there? I'll wait for Nvidia via Shockwave. Okay, I'll wait for Nvidia via Shockwave. Okay. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. So I forgot to hit the live button. I had everything set up. Okay, but sometimes that can happen. That's actually the first time that has happened before. All right, so there's a first for everything. But we've been live since 9 a.m. with our team. So again, guys, to avoid those technical difficulties, make sure to jump in our community. As you're coming in, make sure to like the video. 100 likes by 10:30. That'll put us on good pace for the giveaway. And the 150 likes, we'll do the giveaway, all right? So, so far, SoFi, guys. SoFi is up 36% beautifully, all right? I already took some profits at about 23%. SoFi was the idea team. I posted that here. Okay, go to the growth ideas. Here we go. Okay, this was our first swing trade of the month. So it doesn't come often, but when it does come, right, you have to do your due diligence, complete breakdown of what to look for the trade, all right, the rationale behind that trade and everything. All right, SPY is about to make an all-time high here. If it gets about that 714.46, 714.46. So Palantir, SoFi might even be a Shockwave candidate. So I don't even mind using SoFi as a Shockwave candidate. But the only issue is the contracts are very inflated. So Palantir, Shockwave candidate, of course, SPY candidate as well. The only thing with SPY team is that SPY is starting to fuel up. It's very important for us to understand that we are at all-time highs. Okay, we're at all-time highs. Okay. So this rally we're seeing, guys, we're seeing a little bit of a rotation out of the Dow, a little bit of rotation out of the semis. I wouldn't even go as far as to say rotation, or out of the Qs. I won't even go as far as to say rotation. Maybe some profit taking, and we're starting to see some bulls jumping into the Dow, because we know the Dow is the laggard, and especially the industrials are starting to lead the way. And Palantir is our name we're going to pay attention to here. If Nvidia can hold above that 210.94, that'd be great. That did provide a nice little scalp opportunity to the upside, but I'm going to wait for Nvidia via Shockwave. So Palantir, those contracts are a little bit inflated. Okay, but that's okay. That is okay. As long as the Dow has that strength, I like Palantir as our candidate. Shockwave, guys, if you're trading Shockwave, just keep in mind that break above those levels on SPY is an all-time high. Okay, is an all-time high. Okay, so just keep that in mind, right? So I do want to bring that to your attention. Shockwave hour is upon us. The Dow is leading the way to kick things off. The Dow is strong. The Qs are still red on the day. The Qs are red on the day up until this point. Palantir is trying to work its way to that daily, that's prior day's levels. So this Palantir is trying to work its way to PMH, okay, PMH. And prior PMH, and that weekly 50% retrace. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to be as patient as possible with SPY. Okay, SPY has to be something very, very clean. So Palantir, keep a close eye on Palantir. Okay, my Shockwavers, keep a close eye on Palantir. If you did miss the webinar this weekend, guys, make sure to. I'm going to post that video in the Discord, right? That replay, it is in there. You go check that out. I'm just going to clip out that first part where it's just the waiting room. All right, so you want to maybe zoom, maybe 5 minutes through the first part of the video. There's a lot of waiting, okay. But the full video will be out soon, guys. Okay, and this is the last week. This is the last week for Shockwave. All right, for those of you who are interested in Shockwave, this is your last week to add that to your tool belt as far as early bird special is concerned. Okay, so make sure to do that. Make sure to take advantage. And I do have a special code you can use for this week only. That code is the same code that was provided in the webinar as the code now. Okay, the code now is going to give you an additional 15% off. All right, so if you're interested, there's your time to act. Okay, beautiful, 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 guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. As you're coming in, guys, just hit the like button as you're coming in. Make that the routine. We've been a little light on the likes past few days. All right, and our pursuit of hitting 200 likes. Right, I know one of these days we'll hit 200. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And I'm going to need your support in getting that and hitting that number. All right, so Shockwave hour is upon us in the next couple of seconds here. We'll give it a second. QQQ, yep, head and shoulder trade wins. Are you still in SoFi, Ken? I think Ken took SoFi. Anyone else take SoFi? Okay, Apple is starting to fuel up. Sneaky push on Apple. Okay, sneaky push on Apple. Apple is trading below prior day's lows, all right, well below prior day's lows. So this would be considered a dip buy on Apple, a reversion back to that daily downside breaker. Palantir 147, 142.70, 142.23. Bouncing that territory can present an opportunity. If we do get the Shockwave on Palantir, I'll be there for it. Dow's starting to show a little bit of weakness here. Shockwave hour is here. Name I'm looking at here is Palantir, that 146. I'll use that target as a strike. Contracts are a little juicy, okay, a little pricey. Okay, so if we get that nice little push above that level, I'll be there for it. Keep a close eye on Palantir. Meta starting to brew as well. Meta's brewing. QQQ, if that PML fails to hold, it can start to slide. Down goes Amazon. Okay, down goes Amazon. See if Amazon can continue to push lower. Nvidia might trigger the other side of that wave. Other side of Shockwave. To the downside. Okay, waiting for that verification. The Qs are about to trigger those lows, guys. Qs are about to trigger those lows. If the Dow starts to fade, Palantir can start to fade as well. Dow starts to fade, Palantir can start to fade as well. Apple. I see you, Apple. Okay, trying to make that sneaky move. Okay, Apple. I'm going to shift my attention to Apple. Palantir, we'll keep a close eye on that. See if Apple can hold above that level. Qs, if Qs give up that PML, 662, then we can start to see that slide. SoFi is up 30%. Okay, there we go. SPY. Shockwave on SPY as well. I'll be there for it. Want to see a decisive push lower. Let's shift my focus to, I'm going to keep Apple here. Keep a close eye on Apple. If SPY can show that signs of life down there, to the downside, I'll be there. As it approaches, Qs are selling off hard, guys. Qs are selling off hard. Just be mindful that SPY does have not a lot of room with that PML, right? So we need that decisive push below that PML. Okay, so it's running out of a little bit of room there. Still paying attention to Apple on the side screen and Palantir. I'm going to throw an alert on Apple above that level. I'm keeping a close eye on it on the 15. Okay. Qs did break those lows. So no position, so no intraday position so far. No intraday position so far. The Apple 270s. Very friendly contracts there. Those are the 227s, of course, today's expiration. See if Apple can hold above that level. Once that initial signal comes in, I'll be there for it. Okay. Apple's waves are starting to wave. Apple's waves are starting to wave. So waiting for some confirmation here. Okay, I'll take Apple right there. So when the Apple calls, my risk is all the way down here. So make, break, scale out, stop out. So first trade Apple. 270 calls. My stop was all the way at this 267.17. Targeting this 269.28 or scale out. Okay. So first trade of the day, Apple. And the one thing I do like about Apple is not fully confirmed. Shockwave has not fully confirmed it. One thing I do like about Apple is it can do its own thing, right? So even if SPY starts to sell off, Apple has a tendency to do its own thing. So let me get back to SPY here, because SPY can be setting up to the downside. No signal on SPY yet. Apple up 6%. TP if you need to, guys. Scale out if you need to. Everything's selling off. Q is giving us a signal there. Q is giving us a signal. IW, keep a close eye on IW. That's breaking down via Shockwave. Q's and IW selling off aggressively here. Apple up 12. Okay. If you need to TP on Apple, TP anytime. As everything is selling off, I want Apple to stay above that 258.04. Very, very volatile here on Apple. Did see 12.14, but I want to see a scale out on Apple. No scale out yet. We're going down SMH. Yeah, the Qs are selling off today, guys. Qs selling off a little bit. Apple, still in Apple. My risk is at that 267.26. Down goes the Qs, guys. Anyone take the Qs? Shockwave via the Qs. Apple, our stop was all the way here. I'm waiting for something on SPY. The Qs are getting dragged. The Qs are below PML. Qs are getting dragged. My stop on Apple is right there. So it did peak for about 14. I want to see a scale out though. So if we start to bounce off those lows, so the Qs have room to 660, 660.53. If the Qs break 660.53, then we can really start to see the sell-off pick up, right? So we can see buyers trying to protect 660.53. Okay. See if that signal can last on SPY. SPY is running out of room a little bit. So keep a close eye on that. So no risk reward box yet. Still trying to. Qs aggressively selling off. We're starting to see the IW nice bounce off those lows. Down, nice bounce off those lows. Basically, what you're waiting for on SPY is some sort of structural break. Okay, basically that's what you're waiting for on SPY. SPY below that daily open. Qs below that daily open. How we doing, guys? Beautiful. Stopped out 17%. IW did go lower nicely. So they trapped some of those participants on that side. Qs are starting to bounce a little bit. Apple, a little bit of a whirlwind. It was up 14, now down 15, 16, 17. That's all part of the plan, meaning it's still within my risk, did not hit my TP. So if everything starts to go back the upside, okay, that's going to be favorable for the position. Nvidia also broke down. A lot of fake outs below those lows. A lot of traps below those lows. See, Apple can get bought back up here. As everything gets bought back up. Look at the Qs, how aggressively the Qs are pushing back up. So buyers stepping in. If the Qs get back above 662, we can start to see a PML reclaim. We can start to see a PML reclaim on the Qs. No position so far on Apple. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. And make sure to vote as well. Market sentiment. The poll is very simple today. Market sentiment, bullish or bearish? Bullish or bearish? Amazon hit TP already. Apple almost going to get stopped. Google's starting to fuel up. This next 5-minute juncture on Apple is going to be critical. I don't want that 15-minute candle to go shooter. I don't want that 15-minute candle to go shooter. So what they did is they swept these lows on SPY. Okay, they trapped some of those sellers there. They reclaimed that daily open. And now did they have enough fuel to take those out, to take those highs out? Okay, in that case. And now we're starting to see the Qs getting bought back up aggressively. Okay, so got to be a sniper. Qs, puts, TP hit, other way. So I have two horses in the race. One is a swing. Okay, SoFi, that's up 30+%. Apple is the idea for today. That's down about 19-20%. On Apple here, break above these highs, and we get to go. Sat through a little bit of back and forth. If we can break above that 268.23, we'll be in good shape. If we break below this low, if buyers don't step in, then we can start to slide and get near that stop. Okay. So now the Qs are at VWAP. Qs are at VWAP. IWM shot out of a cannon here. So you can see SPY here, no shockwave. No confirmed signal. SoFi would have been a nice shockwave signal, right? If you took SoFi via shockwave, you're in. Google's starting to go, guys. Of course, Amazon played nicely to the downside. Apple 268.23 break. We'll be back in business. SPY gets above 214.48, breaks above that decisively. We're at all-time highs. For that to take place, for us to accelerate above that level, Q's back above VWAP. Okay, we'll be back in business. So a nice little dump off the open just to shake out a couple of, to trap some sellers there. Okay, shake out some buyers, trap some sellers. Now drag them all the way back to that all-time high. QQQ puts head and shoulder paid off. Beautiful job, trade wins. On SPY, if you're getting stopped out, guys, just manage your stop. That was a beautiful head and shoulder. Nice call out from 943. So let's see if Apple can start to go. SPY, again, if you're taking shockwave on SPY to the upside, all right, that is an all-time high. You want the Qs to stay above VWAP. You want to see the IW starting to pick up as well. If the Dow can join the party, that'd be great as well. Dow gets above 493.65, that'd be great. But ideally, you want the Dow to stay above that 492.15. 492.15. Okay, let's see if Apple can start to work here. Okay, it's just trying to course correct. All right, we did sit through a little bit back and forth, a little bit of drawdown. That's fine. That's acceptable as a part of the plan. I'm gonna move my stop on SoFi. Continue to trail my stop. There we go. Apple is back in the green. Okay, now Apple is starting to rock and roll. See if we can hold above that level. As SPY's coming into this all-time high, guys, just know we have to treat this all-time high as resistance coming in. So we want to see a high volume break, strong decisive break. All right, that does coincide with that shockwave. So be mindful of that. So context is key. This break is not only a break; it's an all-time high break. New 15-minute candle coming in a minute. One more minute left until the new 15-minute candle comes. So the only trade so far I took today was Apple still in the position. We did see profits of upwards of 14%, drawdown upwards of 20%, right? So it didn't get stopped out, didn't hit that target. So still in the position. Okay, now the Qs are back above that VWAP. Qs are back above that VWAP. Everything did grab those lows, starting to course correct. Google off to the races. How we doing so far, guys? How we doing so far on YouTube? How we doing so far, strikers? Apple, yep. Keep in mind, Apple is directional to the downside. Okay, directional to the downside on the daily. So we're looking for that dip buy on Apple, potentially back into that daily downside breaker. Nice scale out on Google. Okay, now Apple, see if Apple can take out that 268.36. Qs are starting to get rejected there off that VWAP. All right, SPY, not doing much. We know SPY likes to make that big move, right? But doesn't make that big move right away. So you can see here, guys, SPY is still jammed here, right? Jammed between those two key zones. Did come into this territory, got a nice little bounce off it, but is that enough to get us past this territory here? All right, that all-time high. Is that all-time high territory? Because if we can break above that all-time high territory, that gives us a nice little runway into this next key zone. And that's 715. Okay, but if we can't, okay, that is resistance. We start to recalibrate and get back into the midpoint of that range. So the question becomes, $1 million question here, is do we have enough fuel off of this grab to drive us above that and beyond into 715? Do we have enough fuel off of that grab to drive us above and beyond? Google, clean move here on Google. Continues to push. Apple, right? Those contracts getting chewed up. Right, just taking some time to work out. Qs are still above that VWAP. See if they can hold. They're right at VWAP, I should say. See if they can hold above it. Okay. Yeah, Apple taking its time. Palantir looked good out the gate. Now Palantir isn't doing much. It's trying to bounce off that 143.32. See if that has enough fuel off of that to continue to push. So I like this Apple position. I just have to no stop out yet. I just have to see if it can continue to push. Nvidia, remember that 210.94. If that comes back into play, that can be interesting. Google is the only one that really took off nicely. So if we get a quick heat map check. Okay, we'll do this from time to time, guys. Maybe every hour, every 30 minutes. This is what we've got so far. Okay, so Intel continues to push up 4.85. MU, Google, nice push there. Apple still down. It is below prior day's lows. We're starting to see Tesla starting to make a move to the downside, continue to push lower. See if Tesla catches that bid off those lows. Okay, SoFi starting to come back in a little bit, right? So ideally, I want Apple to stay above this level here. Okay, no close below that EMA, no close below this level, because there's 5-minute candles inside, there's 15-minute candles inside. So it has not decided which way it wants to go yet. It's just taking some time to make that move. The Qs are hugging that VWAP. Apple starting to slide here. If it closes below that level, I'll close out. As it gets close to those lows. Okay, starting to slide here aggressively. No trade yet on SPY, still waiting on SPY. IW just can't, the Qs can't seem to hold that VWAP. Okay, I'll close Apple right there. So I'll close Apple right there, stopped out. Gave it some time. The nature of those contracts, since they're a little cheaper, those percentages are going to look a little more aggressive. But did get stopped out on Apple there. Couldn't get anything to work. Did see a little bit of green quickly, but again, no scale out, stop out. So Apple, stopped out on Apple. SPY, no trade on SPY yet. The Qs are starting to make that separation away from the view up to the downside. So this was the Apple trade. So Apple, all right, it is in the jaws that gap down, did gap down, right? So it did gap down. It is below prior day's lows. It's below a lot of those levels. Right, if your stop is right here, you're about to get stopped out. If your stop is that conservative, about to get stopped out. Mine was modified to that 267.63 because we started to push away from it. We start to lose value quickly, and theta, right? So I had to modify that stop a little bit. That 15-minute is still inside. It's still directional to the downside now on Apple. Directional to the downside. Okay, if we can fuel back up. Okay, after it left me to the side. If we can fuel back up. I don't mind re-engaging. For potential gap fill. Only if we can reclaim it. If not, it's probably going to start to slide. SPY is still within this opening range. Okay, SPY is still within that opening range. Can we break 715? Yeah, that's very possible for us to get to 715. on SPY. Right, the Qs are right at that VWAP. Qs are at VWAP, so right out the gate today, we did see the Dow take charge. After taking charge, we did see the Dow take charge, start to slide a little bit. The Qs have showed weakness off the open so far. So this is what the Qs have done so far. Okay, the Qs have come into this territory. They swept that pre-market low. Once they swept that, they're starting to push the upside. So the Qs, they did generate enough, right, to make that break. So let's see if that can come into play. Because there's below pre-market low, there's buyers in this territory between that 661.16, 662.28. There's buyers. But do they have enough to get it above and push it back into that ATH territory? As far as SPY is concerned, SPY, somewhat of an inverse head and shoulder as well. Straddling that 662.52. We can see the Dow, guys. The Dow, the importance of the Dow was the Dow needs to join, if it wants to join the party, it needs to get that break above this resistance and a push into that 493.49. And that's exactly what happened. It got that break. So Apple is below VWAP. So that was a good cut. I like that cut. Right. It got that break, but it fell back lower. Okay. So that break got faded. Nope, not this one. Crude, if we get a check on crude, crude is still hugging at 95. VIX not doing much. SPY not doing much here. Apple, good cut. I'll take that cut on Apple. I'll take that cut there. Palantir is rejecting, is right at that 200 EMA, 200 and that 50 EMA. Okay, if Palantir can't hold that 243.32 and can't hold VWAP, starts to push lower, you can start to reject. Intel does have that strength, right? Intel does have strength. MU has that strength as well. So Intel, 85.65 retest. The IV's too high, guys. IV's 103. So this week, IV is going to be all over the place, okay? So that's going to be the challenge. A lot of those names, their IV's going to be all over the place. Minus 40 Apple. Break even Apple. Yeah, Apple once they gave up that VWAP. Starting to bounce off that VWAP, right? Can it get back up 267.85? The only way to be an Apple from the lens of Shockwave. The only way to be an Apple from the lens is if you have aggressive risk, right? Possibly. Or if you're waiting for that close on the 5 below here. If not, depending on your entry there, you could be stopped out. All right, so now Apple did dip into the jaws of that gap. So keep a close eye on Apple. We'll keep a close eye on Apple. If it starts to recalibrate, gets back above 267.86. Okay. Amazon, nice breakdown. Potential re-engagement for Apple. Same contracts. And those contracts are now significantly cheaper. The 270s. So you can treat these basically like lottos. All right, they're very, very cheap, and just know that that's about $2.50 out the money. $2.50 out the money. So do we have enough fuel off of that to get that to generate another signal? If we do, great. If we don't, that's fine as well. SPY, still waiting on SPY, guys. Still waiting on SPY. I would be very bullish on Apple here is if we can get that buying to flip that 15-minute candle. Right, we got a hammer. We have a wicking tail on that candle, but can we flip it with aggression, get above that 267.86 and turn it into an engulfing candle? If we can, that'd be great. All right, so the IV on Intel is unworthy. MU, that's astronomical IV as well. Let's take a look. Yeah, 99 IV. So this is earnings week, guys. So those IVs and spreads are going to be critical. Okay, let's see Nvidia. Nvidia's flirting with that daily upside breaker, which is prior day's highs. Okay, so Nvidia did come into that daily upside breaker initially. It gave the put signal, scalp available, eventually got stopped out, depending on how you approached it. And then now it's starting to push into that 210.94. SPY is not doing much here, team. SPY is not doing much, so we'll be as patient as possible. SPY is just moving in this box. Okay, SPY is boxed in. SPY is boxed in. And the Qs, their inability to create separation away from the VIX, all right, sustain, not from the VIX, from the VWAP and sustain it is clear. We got below, we got above, we're back below it. If the Qs start to break back below 662, that PML, all right, we can start to see that slide. Now we're starting to see the Dow starting to push the downside. Okay, so the only thing red up until this point, guys, is the Qs. The Qs are barely red. SPY is barely green. The Dow is barely green. IW is barely green as well. So the leader in the pack today, as of now, from the opening price, is IWM. That's up 0.17% off the open. Okay. So no reclaim on Apple. QQQ, that inverse. That was a nice right shoulder bounce. Beautiful bounce. Trade wins. Anyone else catch that? SPY can saw downside 34%. Beautiful job. Okay, so it is Monday. So Monday, meaning this week we have a ton of catalysts this week. But today is the calm before the storm. All right, so the market has no reason to start to move unless we get some kind of news headline, because everything is coming later this week. All right, we have earnings, we have FOMC, we have a lot of different things. So the market has nothing to do until then, unless we get some kind of breaking news. That was a nice catch, Michael. Breaking news or something, it has nothing to do. All right, folks on YouTube, make sure to like the video. We're 15 minutes away from the conclusion of first shift. Make sure to like the video. All right, nothing is moving too much here. If something is moving, the IV is elevated. So let's take a look. Okay, let me actually go through the watch list. Let's go through the watch list here. Let's run through the watch list. Okay, GLD gap down. We got MAGs that gap down. We have DIA. We have QQQ. Okay, QQQ to break down to the downside. TP. TP1 on QQQ. SPY, of course, we're going to pay attention to that. IWM, right, did break those lows. Did provide a scale on, not the best entry. Volume imbalance there, not a clean chart. EFA, so Apple, that was our first attempt. Palantir, we did see strength on Palantir off the open. Palantir starting to hold at that daily upside breaker. Tesla. 2 scale outs on Tesla. Nothing on Meta so far. Broadcom. Broadcom puts, initial one scale out, other one stop out. JPM starting to fuel up here. Okay, Microsoft is still inside that range. Walmart, okay, near the bottom of that range. Everything's starting to sell off here aggressively. Nvidia starting to sell off here as well. Go back to SPY real quick. Nvidia selling off aggressively. Nvidia selling off aggressively. Nvidia. SPY, that 15-minute candle broke those lows. Okay, that slow, gradual sell-off on SPY is starting to be apparent on the 15. Okay, if you see SPY on the 5, that's what it looks like. So you can see that 5-minute, outside of that initial drop, that nice little sequence there hasn't been anything too clean. Outside of this initial push lower and that grab and push higher, there hasn't been anything cleaner than that. We're starting to see the Qs push to the downside as well. As the Qs push lower, we're starting to see Nvidia lead the way to the downside. Microsoft holding that VWAP. Amazon looking to break below that 50% retrace of prior day. MU starting to slide as well. Palantir trying to fuel back up. Google pulling back slightly. Did get a nice little break on Google. Apple still holding VWAP. Apple is holding VWAP. Apple is holding VWAP. All right, buyers are defending that 662 on the Qs with their life. Buyers are defending that 662 with their life. If Microsoft gives up that VWAP and Apple gives up that VWAP, we can start to see that break below at 662 on the Qs. It's getting heavy there. All right, it's getting heavy. Tesla continues to sell off. Tesla's probably the cleanest chart. Okay, Tesla, clean chart there on Tesla. How are we doing, strikers? Alerts set on IWM. 100% is just set the alert and just wait. Exit from calls, good. Think we break 715. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yeah, 715 is very possible for us to get into 715, but this is the elephant in the room, that all-time high. So we need to surpass all-time highs, and that would be the segue for us to push into 715. Okay, we're starting to see Nvidia starting to break here. Microsoft still holding. Microsoft still holding. SPY gave up that VWAP. ATR currently 55 cents per 5-minute candle. All right, I know this price action on SPY is very frustrating, guys. It's just testing your patience. So if you don't see anything, there's nothing for you to take. Because let's just zoom out just for a second here. Just for a quick second here. Okay, so we're inside on the hourly. We're within prior day's range. Okay, we have this zone up here, we have this zone down here. Okay, between these two zones, okay, anything in between is nothing for us to do. So unless one of these zones give, or we get mean reversions off these zones, there's nothing else to do on SPY. Right? On top of that, we know all the catalysts are coming up later this week. We know those catalysts are coming up later this week. So it's in the best interest of the market to make moves in one direction and get back that daily open. So I wouldn't be surprised, okay, in the event that we don't get some kind of news catalyst, that we end up closing back in this territory here and going doji on the daily. A little bit still early to call it, but that's the idea I'm leaning towards. So we're still inside on the hourly candle. So if you don't trade inside hourly candles, right, there's nothing for you to do. Q's below VWAP, SPY at VWAP, IW below VWAP, Dow below VWAP. So all the major indexes very close to VWAP or below VWAP. Everything's on the verge of going red on the day. So the first one red is, of course, the Q's in relation to its open. Walmart broke that level. Yep, Walmart is starting to sell off there. See if you can hold below that level. Let's see if Walmart can hold below that level, continue to push lower. Hold below that 128.86, that PML. Walmart did break that shockwave, the waves. All right, so the level, I should say. Walmart does have a little room to go. Stay below PML. Matter of fact, Walmart's a good call. Walmart is a great call. The 128s do look interesting. See if Walmart can hold that level. So now it is, Shockwave is saying Walmart idea is there. Okay, but the only issue is we're near the lows. So if Walmart can get some kind of bounce, so Shockwave says 1019 puts. So if Walmart can get a little bit of a bounce, if I can get that entry near this territory, that'd be a great area to get involved. And you can use that PML as your risk, or you can use that whole unit, that 1 hour as your risk. All right, whichever one. See if Walmart can come back in just a little bit, A 1 minute bounce on Walmart. 1 minute bounce on Walmart. All right, to try to get that those contracts as close as possible to that entry. Did you grab Walmart dirty red? Great call out. You see this right here. Nice little channel there. That inverse head and shoulder. 662. Yeah, that's going to be that decisive area. And that 662 coincides, that's the Qs, right? The 662 coincides closely with that PML. So this is what TradeWinds is talking about. That 662, you guys see it right there. So that PML is right there. So that's going to be the critical level. If we start to bounce off that, that's our right shoulder, inverse head and shoulder. We head back towards that daily open as that neckline. Okay, if we start to break below it, we start to head back towards those lows there. Walmart, what a breakdown on Walmart. Walmart, clean move on Walmart. Anyone catch Walmart? Beautiful job, dirty red. Meta, Google, Nvidia up. I don't know why SPY down. Here's what I think happens due to the tech earnings. It's very possible that they run you to 720 after earnings into Friday. The next week drop 10%. Very possible, but 10% would be a tough drop in 1 week for me. But I can see us running up into that 720 territory, maybe pulling back slightly. 10% drop from 720. That's what about that leads us back to 713. 713s. $712, $713. That's very possible. Walmart strike. If you're at the money, the 128s, of course. I mean, I don't have a position on Walmart. So if you like the contracts at the money, or if you want to use the target as a strike. It just depends on how you want to look at it. And those Walmart contracts have a little bit of time. So since they have a little bit of time, right, you can use the target as a strike. The time when it gets a little dangerous, I would say, is if you're going out the money 3-4 points out, and those are expiring the same day. So unless it's high conviction, I'll stick to at the money. But if you have a couple of days on it and you like the setup, then I'd say, hey, you know what? Okay, you can go a little further out. Yeah, Nvidia's starting to go. Yep, Nvidia. Microsoft's starting to go the opposite way. Microsoft is breaking the upside. Okay. Nvidia to the downside. So if you took Nvidia, manage accordingly. All right. So today might be a day to see profit, take profit. Since the market is not doing much, there's no expansion on the indexes. Right. If you see double digits, take some off. And first off, Nvidia does have room into that 208.20, that PML. Okay. If you're holding the target, that target is all the way at that 207.54 territory, the 207.50s, right? Palantir. Palantir didn't come into that bounce zone, but now Palantir is starting to trigger that shockwave here. So we need the strength of the Dow. A little bit of strength from the Dow would help. Again, those contracts are juicy. All right. Palantir, Microsoft as well. So on Palantir, I'll look at the contracts a little spready there. The 145s. Trying to go further out, you want to know the 150s. Okay, that would lead you all the way into the, that'll be out the money. See if Palantir can pull just a little bit in. And I'll take Palantir. Okay, just come back just a little bit. Come back just a little bit into that territory. First idea today, Apple stopped out. Palantir will be the second one. Okay, the Qs are starting to sell off as well here, guys. Qs are starting to sell off. Okay, Qs, Shockwave on the Qs. IW. All right, so be careful going long on any of those individual names if everything's selling off. Nvidia, nice drop there. Anyone catch Nvidia? Nvidia was nice. Nvidia scale out. QQQ is starting to break down below that 662. Okay, can the Qs drag SPY? Can the Qs drag SPY? Retrace reject on the Qs off that PML, I'll be there. Qs, nice breakdown on the Qs. Okay, IW did break down, catching the bid there. But the fact that Nvidia has fallen off a cliff, that's really favoring the Qs there. Look at that drop on Nvidia. Beautiful drop on Nvidia. Microsoft starting to pull back. Okay, today, guys, if you see profit, take profit. That's the best protocol. SPY again, that second 15-minute candle sell off as well. So the SPY went red on the day. Q's about to go to target. Scale on Nvidia 60%. Beautiful job, Firefly. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yep, QQQ 662. That was beautiful trade wins. Once that broke, that was it. Right, being very selective and knowing where to look is the key difference. Again, guys, the conclusion of first shift. First shift, we did take Apple. The call, stopped out on the calls. Did see a little bit of green, but eventually got stopped out and trimmed some profits on SoFi. Outside of that, no other trades. We did see the Qs break down nicely. Walmart break down nicely. A couple of names make some nice moves. And that sell-off on Nvidia, very aggressive there. So Nvidia, I would say the shallowest entry point is that 208.20. SPY's right at that daily open. Okay, right at that daily open. So first shift is in the books. First shift in the books. If this is the case, those mean reversion setups. Okay, bounces off this, grab this low, might come into play. Okay. See if the Qs can come back and retrace, reject in this territory. One little push. Nvidia, still some selling pressure. Nvidia hit TP. Nvidia hit TP. Nvidia hit TP. So puts 1026. SPY is at daily open. SPY is at daily open. SPY is at daily open. That 662 is coming back into play. Rejection or reclaim. As SPY starts to pick up some speed off of that daily open, more than likely it can open up the door for that reclaim. If I get a shooter here on SPY on the Qs, on the 1, there can be something there, but if that 5-minute candle starts to go hammer aggressively, right, that might flip into a reclaim. So the buyers are coming in aggressively off of those lows. Okay, Q's pushing back the upside. So it's truly see profit, take profit, guys. It's truly see profit, take profit. Microsoft is trying to hold that level. Nvidia goes hammer. Nvidia goes hammer on the 5. 2 down, 2 up. Can come into play. All right, very interesting to see what takes place there. So Nvidia hammer on the 5. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at SPY. Okay. Look at that. Look at SPY now. I want Nvidia to come back to 206.80. Let's pull back just a little bit. And I'll take the Nvidia 210s. Those contracts are very friendly. Okay. Reversal off that PML. Look at SPY. Shenanigans. See if Nvidia can come back a little to 208.80. Okay, that's a nice little dip buy. Off that reclaim, everything's starting to reclaim those lows. That 15-minute candle's starting to go a hammer. There's still 8 minutes left on it. See if Nvidia can bounce off that 208.80. 208.80 bounce. Risk being 208.20. My goodness. Close Nvidia made up for Apple loss. Beautiful job. 68% Nvidia, beautiful job. Brenda. All right, shenanigans is here, guys. Shenanigans, we got our one shenanigans candle. VIX is headed towards 18, it's at 1873. 1850 will be critical. Okay. That 15-minute candle can hold like that. That'd be great. And this would be getting Nvidia off those lows. Back into that VWAP. See if that 208.80 can hold. Need the Qs to get above VWAP in that case. If it falls back below 208.80, same thing, guys. And the VIX, the Qs fall back, reject off that that VWAP, then that Shockwave comes back into play for potential reclaim to downside. So trying to play this 15-minute candle formation on Nvidia. Still has about 6 minutes left. So this sporadic bounce didn't even lead us to all-time highs, right? So it's almost like you have to have that perfect, near perfect timing. You have to be there and then be out. Any mishaps, any missteps can lead to different outcomes. And again, if you don't have that, if you don't get that desirable outcome, all right, just manage your risk. Okay. Meta, sneaky setup on Meta. I know we're all over the place today, but looking for opportunity here. The 680s on Meta. Keep a close eye on that spread. Very spready, but 680s on Meta can come into play. Nvidia, I'm going to wait for that 15-minute candle. Okay, Nvidia, I'll wait for that 15-minute candle to close out. If I can go hammer, it'll give me that confidence. Palantir also brewing. Palantir is still holding that level. Palantir is still holding Shockwave, but not creating that separation, right? It's just kind of stuck there. Just kind of stuck there. So we need a lift from the market. We need a lift from the market. Okay. So a couple of things brewing here. See if Nvidia can come back at 208.80. Did come into a bounce here quickly. Very quick bounce. What's going to really take Nvidia over the top is if the Qs can reclaim VWAP. The Qs can reclaim VWAP. Nvidia can start to work here. All right, Qs need that VWAP reclaim. Okay, shenanigans, we get that break, and then we get that push back lower. So this can be a 5 for 5 type of setup on Nvidia. 5-minute entry, 5-minute risk. See if you can hold above that 208, 209.20. Only issue is that's that 9 EMA. Okay, so you need that decisive push above that 9 EMA. If everything goes shooter, Qs go shooter, Nvidia goes shooter. Okay, Shockwave can possibly come back into play on Nvidia. So it's going to depend on what the Qs do. But there are some buyers at that 15 on the 15. 3 minutes left. If you look at Nvidia on the 15. Let's go to that real quick. SPY, messy chart. So Nvidia this morning, we talked about that all-time high being right there. All right, this is that 15-minute candle. All right, so 15-minute reversal. It'll be above those highs. Okay, back at that 210. We did come into these lows down here. Okay, some post-market lows, some pre-market lows. So do we have enough fuel off of that? Okay, to lead into this 15-minute candle. And if it's back to 210, that would be about less than a 1-to-1. So you'd have to take it a little further than 210 into like 211, 211.83 territory. This would be the 15-minute idea. Okay, if we can't trigger 209.31, continue to push higher. Qs start to slide. Qs fall back below PML. We can start to see Nvidia do the same thing back to the downside. All right, so the traders who are looking for the reversal, they have to wait. They have to do more due diligence than the ones taking the break below those lows, because Nvidia and the Qs are all below their VWAPs and are right at that point where we can get that continued break on Shockwave. Okay. All right, so a lot of back and forth to kick things off this week. Of course, this is to be expected. That 15-minute candle on Nvidia, pay attention to it here, is right here. That 15-minute candle has 57 seconds left. 57 seconds left. What's going to help that 15-minute candle on Nvidia is, of course, that reclaim of VWAP on the Qs. Reclaim of VWAP on the Qs. We need that reclaim of VWAP on the Qs, and that can help that 15-minute candle on Nvidia. And that has room to, that daily open, that VWAP is exactly at very close to that 210 cycle level. Okay, that 210 cycle level and VWAP are very close. So 15-minute candle coming in here at in 10 seconds. So any break above that 15-minute candle's highs, we can't get that reversal. Now the question is, where is your risk going to be? And where is your risk going to be? If it's a 5 for 5, your risk is, meaning 5-minute entry, 5-minute risk, is going to be right here. Okay. If you're going to play that 15-minute reversal. For that case, you need the VIX, not the VIX, the Qs to get above VWAP. Okay, Meta. I like how Meta's pushing here. Looking at the 680s on Meta. I want Meta to start to push. Take a look at the 15 on Meta. Inside on that 15. See if Meta can continue to push. Palantir is starting to go. All right, so it just requires that patience. And you don't want to get caught when the individual name doesn't have that follow through behind that move at that particular time. So what I'm trying to minimize is the time that I'm in the position when it's not making the move, and just start waiting for it to make that move and try to be there when it does make that move. Okay, Nvidia. So no 15-minute reverse on Nvidia. So I'll have an alert for you guys here. Okay. So we will get alerted. SPY's not doing much. Okay. SPY's not doing much, guys. SPY's not doing much here. We got that daily open bounce. Yes, that daily open bounce was there. But outside of that, head and shoulder on 15 on the Qs. Let's take a look at the Qs here. Q. Again, guys, make sure to like the video on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe at 150 likes. We'll do the giveaway. Okay, possibly I can see that trade winds forming. We get maybe one more little pop and then drop. So you're waiting for that right shoulder right there. So to give it a nice little bounce, and then a break. Yeah, that right shoulder possibly brewing there. The Qs, the bars are strong here at that 661, 16, 662, 20, 28. Bars are strong. Bars are strong there. Pound to retest the Shockwave. Meta. I'm looking at Meta. I'm going to take Meta right there. Okay. I'm in the Meta calls. All right. I'm going to treat this as a scalp. So up 8, up 9, up 10. Okay, there we go. 13, 14. On Meta. Close out right there on Meta, 15%. Okay, quick scalp on Meta, 15%. Okay. As it goes to PMH. So Meta, Shockwave came into play. One shot, one kill on Meta. 15% scalp. All right, just saw that coming into play. And then I want to take that quick scalp on Meta before I get into PMH. The reason why I want to be quick there, I mean, again, it can continue to go, is because we're coming to that PMH. All right, and if you can give me that 15, see profit, take profit. So quick scalp on Meta there, 15%. If you're still in Meta, manage accordingly. Your first obstacle, if you're treating Meta as a scale out, hit target. Okay, so what we're going to start to do is this, guys. So a type 1 trade moving forward, type 1 trade. Type 1 trade equals see profit, take profit, / scalp. Okay? So when I say type 1 trade, that's what I mean. Type 2 trade is basically the more traditional. Okay, scale out, hit, scale out. Okay, this one, there was a nice trade on Meta. Hit, scale out, or TP, or stop loss. Okay, so this is more of a reaction trade. This is more of a idea, all right? Anyone take Meta? If you took Meta, dollar signs in the chat. That thing is flying. All right, so type 1, see profit, take profit, tight stop, quick scalp. Type 2, hit, scale out, or TP or stop loss. Meta, hit, scale out. Okay, so Meta I treat it as a type 1, but turned out to be a type 2. Right? Sometimes that does happen. But Meta, that was a nice push on Meta. It is at PMH. It is at scale out. If you did take that, beautiful job. 100% premium burn. That tight range on the Qs, guys, is that this white line you're seeing is this hourly range. Okay, this white line you're seeing on the Qs is the QQQ chart. This is the previous hour. That's the previous hour's high. This is the previous hour's low. Okay, and then now this is the midpoint of that previous hour. So what that tells us is we are very tight. We're not expanding the previous hour's activity. We're just very indecisive. And we just happen to be sitting right at this bound zone. Right? So you can have that bullish lean off this bound zone even though we are inside from a directional standpoint, as long as this holds. But now it's just a matter of finding areas to participate. Right? If you take a look at it on the 1, is what it looks like. Right? Very, very choppy to say the least. Okay. Look at SPY. This is the previous hour's midpoint. Okay, on top of that, SPY is inside. All right. So Meta is doing its own thing, actually. Meta's above PMH. If you took Meta, beautiful job. I scalped out of Meta quickly. Okay, that's okay. Don't chase anything, guys. Here's Meta. So eventually, Shockwave will give you something. This is Meta. So for me, this is a quick 15% pop. This right here, from here to here. Okay, Meta's a mover. Meta's a mover. Meta is a mover. Still in SoFi. SoFi. I already have my first scale out on SoFi. I'll look to hold SoFi. These runners are okay. As long as it's positive. Okay, so now we're starting to see Nvidia trying to get above the VWAP. It's doing its best to get above that VWAP. Nvidia, that reversal we talked about on Nvidia, is hindered by VWAP, of course. We have that 5 minute. If you go 5 for 5, okay, that was very scalpable for you on Nvidia. If you took that signal, or if you took that idea on Nvidia, okay, 5 for 5. I'll talk about the 5 for 5 in the boot camp. All right. So that break was, boom, 45-cent scalp. If you're looking for the entire reversal, right, you would see some profit. Okay. And if you're okay with giving that profit back up and pursue that 610, possibly, but that view up is right there. Okay. So nice little scalp on Nvidia. SPY's not doing much. I think the name, the winner for today is Meta. Winner for today is Meta. Microsoft is brewing. Microsoft is brewing. Microsoft is brewing. Microsoft is brewing. Okay. Meta, what a move on Meta. Anyone catch Meta, guys? I bought Shockwave. How will I get access to it? Once you do buy Shockwave, guys, make sure to send me an email to the email that is provided in the instructions. Okay. Once I have your purchase, if you bought it today, if you bought Shockwave today, all right, you'll have access to your indicator tomorrow. Okay, you'll have access to the indicator tomorrow. I just have to give you access. I just need your TradingView username. Once I have your TradingView username, I do see your purchase. Okay. I do see your purchase, Andrew. Okay, I can confirm that you do make the purchase. Right, so by tomorrow, you'll have access to it. And I just need your TradingView username, all right? So TradingView username, and you'll have access. Again, guys, it is the last week for Shockwave, okay? Shockwave indicator. So today, nothing on SPY. The big winners today were Meta. All right. To give you some context, I treat this as a type 1 trade, turned out to be a type 2. All right. It's hit or miss. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't from the standpoint of it's just a stock picking market. All right. So I'm okay with that. I was able to extract 15 when it's all said and done. To give you some context, my entry was 231, and those contracts went all the way to 405. Okay. Our first trade on Shockwave was Apple. That led to a stop out. And this was the stop out. When you get stopped out, just respect the stop. But respecting the stop is very, very critical. Nvidia even came into play earlier. This is a scalp. The past few days, guys, has been scalpers market. You can see Nvidia. You take the puts here. Okay, stopped out. You're down 1R. Comes back in. You like it. You take it again. Same risk. It goes 2 TPs. It goes to TP2. What that simply means is it gave you 2R. TP1. It goes 2R. So TP1 is automatically 2R. I'm going to shift my focus to Nvidia. Something is brewing on Nvidia there, right? I like what Nvidia is trying to string together. Scale out Tesla 14%. Beautiful job, guys. This is truly scalpers market. All right, so you have to be a scalper to be honest. And the ones that do break out and continue to go, it's hit or miss. Okay, but in pursuit of that big hit, you don't want to give up on those profits on the table, right? So scalp, scalp, scalp. That's what's looking like it's the opportunities, because there's no follow through behind SPY. There's no follow through behind the Qs. All right, so this is requiring a high level of technicals to navigate. 2 trades up 1.7 portfolio. Beautiful job. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. %, quick scalp Nvidia. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Off that 5 for 5. That was a nice 5 for 5 on Nvidia. Above that 290, above that 209.43. Okay, risk being that 208.90. Quick boom, nice little pop, double digit. So SPY is not giving us much, guys. At least SPY comes to these extremes. All right, if it comes to the extremes, I'll engage SPY. But in this chop, there's nothing for me to do. If the Qs continue to start to slide, we can see a 5 for 5 to the downside on Nvidia. Okay, we got that shooter. We're gonna jazz those EMAs. The biggest danger is when you are scalping, you can quickly start to overtrade. Okay, you can quickly start to overtrade. Again, guys, make sure to like the video on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. We have over 170 people joining us this morning. If you're a first-time viewer, let us know where you're joining from. Long-time viewers, take the next steps, join our community. If you're interested in Shockwave, guys, this is the last week. Moving forward, I'm going to be introducing something really cool with the yearly plan in May. And the yearly plan, all right, starting in May, okay, is going to have access, limited access to Shockwave. All right, so the ones who purchase a yearly plan, there's going to be, we'll talk about that in May. There's going to be something available for you to use Shockwave within the yearly plan. Not the ones that are currently on the yearly plan, but the new yearly plan is coming out. All right, there's a couple of things coming up that's going to be really cool. A lot of you have been asking to get access to Shockwave, right? And I've done the early bird special. I've done the discount, so I can't just make it for free. Okay, so there are people who did pay for it. So again, it is a top indicator. I would say as good as it gets from a momentum indicator. Okay, as good as it gets, and Shockwave 2.0 coming out soon. All right, that'll be coming out soon, probably maybe the end of May possibly. That'll be our first update. All right, so I talked about that in the webinar yesterday. The dashboard and a couple of other features going to be incorporated in Shockwave. Okay, because my goal, again, the goal is to keep your trading to one screen. Okay, the one screen. All right, so what I mean by that is, of course, you have your main chart, SPY, and then now you have the Shockwave dashboard. Okay, the dashboard, which is of course the what tells you the bias and everything. That dashboard is going to be right there. And then we're going to have another dashboard that you get to put the tickers inside. You choose the tickers. But by default, I'll have the 12 tickers in there. That tells you which of those individual names are breaking out. And then now you're paying attention to SPY. You can even be on the essential plan. All right, you're looking for SPY. The breaks on SPY. Okay, you have your levels, everything provided. Okay, and then you have the high, you're paying attention to SPY, you have your dashboard, and then now you have this little ticker dashboard as well. Okay, and some tickers are starting to break. If you have an essential plan on TradingView, you can have two screens. You can have one SPY and one for whatever this ticker's name, whatever that ticker that's breaking, and then put on your chart here. Okay. So the one screen dream. Okay. The one screen dream. Okay. Especially for those of you who don't have multiple screens, we're going to make that happen. We're going to try to make that a reality. All right. If you have the luxury of having multiple screens, obviously you can also do that, but you can start to have the dashboard on some other names. Okay. But trying to fit everything into one screen is the primary objective. Poet going getting crushed today. $10-ton elephant doesn't want to move quick. 100%. So it looks like SoFi is starting to pull back here a little bit. Meta gone. So congrats on the ones who caught Meta. Okay, SPY's first legit breakdown. Down go the Qs. Down go the Qs. Nvidia 208.18. Break. Five for five. 5 minute entry, 5 minute stop. Looking at the 210s on Nvidia. If it breaks below that 209.19, 18, I'll be there on Nvidia. Nvidia puts 5 minute entry, 5 minute stop, 5 for 5 on Nvidia. Okay, I'll take Nvidia right there. My stop on Nvidia is 209.55. So in this case, I want everything to continue to push lower. If best case scenario, okay, we break below 209.18, continue to sell off, and we trigger Shockwave. Worst case scenario, we get above 209.65, get stopped out. Okay, so I'm in the Nvidia puts. In this meantime, I want the Qs to continue to sell off. Qs continue to sell off. Let's see if SPY can trigger this Shockwave here as well. So my stop on Nvidia is right here. NCE. Okay, Nvidia's starting to go. If you did take this, manage accordingly. TP where you need to. Okay, see if Nvidia can trigger Shockwave in the meantime. Okay, Nvidia's up 6, up 5. Those contracts are not moving too smooth, but I'm going to move my stop on Nvidia to this candle's open, 209.39. See if there's some follow through just in case we go a wick. See if Nvidia can start to trigger that. Okay, we're starting to see some buyers step up aggressively here on the Qs and on SPY. See if we can absorb that. I want to see if we can absorb it. My stop has been moved to 209.39. So those puts are not moving as nicely. We're probably heavily skewed to the call side. So in the meantime, we are looking for that continued hold below 262 on the Qs. If the Qs can hold below 262, and Nvidia stay below 209.39, I'll remain in the position. If we get back above that 662 on the Qs, 209.39 on the Nvidia, then we'll start to part ways with the position. So the last little piece we need is a break below these lows. If we can get that, that'd be great. In the meantime, SPY is trying to go back the other way. SPY is trying to go back the other way. Okay, so Nvidia, we did see 5-6%. Sometimes when something is so skewed to the call side, the puts don't move as nicely. Or the inverse is true. Right? Sometimes what you'll notice is on a particular name, one directional, one side of the contracts move smoother than the other. All right, for us to get the double digits team, we need to get this break below these lows. Those lows being that 208.98 territory. We get that break, we'll be in good shape. Again, what the environmental factors is the Q stay below 662. No close on the 5. Okay, this is what the Nvidia trade is. Okay, puts at that 209.18 territory. Looking for the break below here. Stop right there, 209.39. No close back above that. If your stop is still all the way up here, the 5 for 5. Okay, you can have it there if you like. But I'll move mine just to right there. So you see how quickly that moved to the upside. I'm going to close out Nvidia right there. Minus 13 on Nvidia. So I did see a little bit of appreciation. Couldn't get that break below those lows. Stopped out on Nvidia. Minus 13. To get back above that 209.39. So it just seems like there's more buying pressure. And those contracts quickly get rewarded to the upside than to the downside. So in that case, just to get stopped out fairly quickly. Right now, 15 minutes candle on Nvidia starting to brew here as well. The Qs are back above 662. SPY has just been, again, if you're just trading the orb at face value, all right, you're not using some kind of entry model. If you're managing risk, that's fine. If you're not managing risk, all right, the SPY is punishing those traders today. Good stop out on Nvidia there. Right, they trapped those range traders there. Trap them there again. Trap them here again. Nvidia just shot out of a cannon. Nvidia shot out of a cannon. So probably have one more trade to do, guys, and then we'll look to wrap up. Hopefully that trade comes in on SPY. Last trade Nvidia stopped out. Meta continues to push. Meta's above that daily upside breaker. IWM, Apple. Anyone able to extract the profits quickly on Nvidia? That was quick. Book 30% profits. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, SPY is just holding on to dear life. It's a bigger picture idea on Nvidia. That 15-minute reversal. All right, that entry came a while back. You would still be sitting through this back and forth, right? SPY as messy as can be. SPY as messy as can be. Our goal by the end of the week, guys, is to hit 5K subs. We're closing on 5K, so if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so, guys. Help us get to that goal. Help us get to that goal. Okay, we're at 4,920. If we can get to 4,950 by today, we'll be there. Okay. That 712.89. We need that clear break below that. Clear break below that. So on SPY, we're actually directional to the downside. So this will be the last trade of the day for me, and it will be on SPY. See if we can hold those lows. Okay. See if you can get some kind of trigger. If you're getting stopped out every trade, I see you got stopped out, real quiet. All right, just manage your stops, guys. All right, I know it's a little frustrating, but just continue to stick to the plan. See, get that breakdown here on SPY. Right, there's a lot of weight. We did see buyers step in aggressively. So So you can see how aggressive they were here. They stepped up, they drove it all the way there. They stepped up here, they couldn't drive it all the way there. They just drove it here. So that can be telling us that there's a lot of selling pressure above. So I'll be looking for Shockwave on SPY here for that last trade of the day for potential push to downside. It doesn't have a lot of room initially, guys. Initially, it doesn't have a lot of room. So I want to see us hold below that 713.09. That's to the downside. That's to the downside on SPY. See if there's some weight on that trend line support. On the hourly, on SPY, we're actually directional on the hourly. Okay, so on the hourly, we're actually expanding outside of prior hours range. So it gives us just a little bit of room to here. That's the runway. All right, so that can be the opportunity there. Okay, so let's see if we get a breakdown. Stay below 713.09, get a breakdown below 712.89. The risk being daily open. I like how Qs are selling off here as well. Not quite at that 9 EMA. We did get a peekaboo above VWAP there on SPY. All right, so I want to see that structural break of that trend line support, put some pressure on it. My risk will be this daily open a little bit before the initial full unit of risk. Okay, let's see if that continue push lower. Looking at the 712s. 712 puts on SPY. Keep in mind, we are coming into an area where it's very sensitive, so I'm looking for a continued break and for a potential expansion. All right, so I already defined the risk being up here. I want that 5-minute candle to hold there. If you're getting the ripple, if you're taking the ripple is there. Okay, let the buyer step in there for a little bit. Nvidia is starting to break down. Okay, let's see one more little green candle there, and I'll take it to the downside. Okay, and this is the shenanigans. This is why I want to wait. This is exactly why. Right, it could easily just take it to the downside here, but you just got to wait a little bit. Let the shakeout take place. Right, just want to let that take place and see if there's still some selling pressure after that candle fake out. Okay. This can be a nice little trap of those shorts, and then dump them one more time to the downside. All right, so just waiting. This is why it's so important to wait. Okay. No follow through there, no entry. No trigger, no entry. If we get back above daily open, that means the buyers are stepping up here. Okay. And as they step up, how far do they want to drive this thing? Earlier, we said that there's a good chance we can close very close to that daily open by end of day. Okay, so we're starting to see piano keys on the 5. So the conditions are tough here. The Dow's starting to fall off a cliff. What a drop by Meta back to that entry point. After the buyer stepped up here, if we start to break back into it, it can get interesting. Down goes the Dow. Okay, the only thing green at this current moment, guys, is IWM. IWM is green by one cent. IWM is green by a penny. Okay, so now do we have enough fuel to push lower? So trap some longs, get them activated. Now do we have enough fuel to drop here? If we do, I'll be there. Just waiting is critical. Because the bulls are trying to respond. They're trying to buy it off of that level. But it's not enough for them to get it back above that daily open. All right? Not enough of a response to get it above that daily open. So a lot of selling pressure here. So unless the buyers get it above that daily open, the sellers are overwhelming the buyers here. We hit the break below those lows. I like how that 5-minute candle looks here. Nice little wick. I'll take the puts right there. Okay, when the puts there, I'm going to front run those puts. And my risk is here. My risk is all the way there. If you did take the puts there, manage accordingly. On SPY, very tight runway. Okay, we can get a wick anytime. Okay, so this will be the lotto for the day. My NC is all the way up here. If you're waiting for Shockwave, continue to wait. I'm already in. Okay, initial room into this 712.60. If we close back above here, then I'll get stopped out. That's probably about a 15 to 20% stop. So I want that selling pressure to continue to get overwhelming. Our first expansion break would be great. 5-minute candle looking good. If you want something a little more conservative, you can move your NC to 713.09. And those contracts are not moving. They're barely moving. Right? Why? Right? Very little IV, very low, very small ATR. So we need a big move on the chart itself. So first trade on SPY here. If you're taking a Shockwave, your risk is, of course, all the way up here. New 5-minute candle. Biggest danger here is inverse head and shoulder type of setup. Nvidia trying to show some signs of life. Nvidia's at VWAP. Nvidia's trying to carry semis back to life. So keep a close eye on Nvidia at VWAP. Currently down about 7-8%. Okay, let's see if they can start to go. If we can break below that 712.74, we will continue that selling here. Right, despite this, oh, my bad. So despite this ugly action, we are directional on the hourly. So we're below the last hour's candle. So if we can take out these lows, that's asking for a lot. The selling continues. Right, and the room is into these lows. Okay, these contracts are moving atrociously, guys. They're only at 1%. Right. Okay, let's see. Okay, go, go, go. Okay, go, go, go. Our first hurdle is going to be here, so we need to break below that level. We need to break below that level decisively. If you did take that, manage accordingly. There we go. 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 Up 27, 28. There we go. There we go. I'm going to close out right there. All out. 25. Okay, who took that? Beautiful trade on SPY. If you're still in, manage accordingly. But again, we can't get very, very dicey here. All right. That was the only clean move on SPY. We're able to catch it. I'm all out. One shot, one kill. All right. PML is right there. So we can't get that. We can't get some buyer stepping in there. All right. So best practice would be to scale out a little bit. If you want to hold your whole position, by all means, but just heads up. All right. So one shot, one kill for me, 25%. And that'll be the last trade. Anyone caught that? Okay. Good. That was the one breakdown we were looking for. All right. Took forever. But we said, right? We said here, this is gonna be the highly contested area. This is the make or break. So as it comes into this territory, if we can't get that response back up, we can break that level. Only issue is if you're going to go, don't try to go short here and chase. Right, you need a cushion because if we get back above this area, that's when that mean reversion takes place. All right, so finally broke down. That was our first, trade on SPY. All right, I want you to go back and watch why we didn't take it there. We waited. And we waited for this initial push to come in. We took the break, and then that played out beautifully. But now I got to be careful because why, guys? We're in this bounce zone. We can start to see buyers coming in here. So it's a very small window for us to take advantage of the downside. So we got to be precise, right? Chart awareness and chart IQ is going to be critical here. Okay, beautiful job, guys. All right, so beautiful. 25%, good. Still red. Yeah, that was the SPY. It took some time here to play out. If you guys are red, just make sure that you don't let that blow over. Try to, in the afternoon, try to be more aggressive. Very, very important. Okay, the conditions last week, conditions this week have not been easy. All right, so red days do come along, but you want to make sure that you keep those red days contained. So no horse in the race on SPY. So the two trades that I did take on Meta, one shot, one kill. SPY, one shot, one kill. All right, and our stop outs were Apple and Nvidia. All right, if you're still holding on SPY, you can move your NC. You can do whatever you need to manage your position. But we are at that PML, so you're going to see a decisive close below 712.50. We can't see a cohort of buyers trying to pick this up aggressively because that mean reversion is right there. If you take Shockwave already scale out. The initial signal comes in here, scale out right there. Okay, now who's done for the day, guys? Patience pays, 100% trade wins. QQQ, that was beautiful. That head and shoulder. You are on the money. Okay, let's go to SPY here. Let's go to QQQ. So we need an expansion out of there. Yeah, left shoulder, head, right. Just a completely dislocated right shoulder. As one of our traders, Artem, likes to say, dislocated right shoulder. But nonetheless, the challenging part is, right, scalps, you can be long, short, but to be net long or net short here is going to be difficult. What I mean by net short means bigger picture thinking. To be short here, it's going to be tough. Just right there, because we know this is where the buyers are stepping in. So it's either you look to go long off that level with some confirmation, or you look to short into this territory using it as a target. Okay, so that's what we did there. Okay, that's what we did there. All right, so see profit, take profit has been the theme today. Again, guys, make sure to like the video on YouTube. Make sure to like the video. I'm not sure how many likes we got today. Again, let's get to 5K subs by the end of the week. That'll be a huge, huge milestone for us. If you're on a journey with us from the very, very beginning, right? This is our channel, right? It's not only my channel. This is truly our channel. We built this thing together with your support. Let's get a heat map check. Heat map check. All right. Heat map check. So the last hour, we'll do it hour by hour. Last hour, semis are taking a hit. Nvidia giving up some of those gains. Cisco as well. AMD flat. Microsoft flat. Everything flat. The only thing barely green is Nvidia. And when we take a look at consumer defense, we got Philip Morris there. Tesla flat. A lot of flat activity during that last hour. No expansion. On the daily. So we did see some gap ups and gap downs. Tesla's down 2.96%. GM down as well. MU still up, enjoying that gap up. Google up nicely. So not a lot of activity there. Okay, so if you're looking for that reversal, look for inverse head and shoulder out of here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And even though it's Monday, it's been an mentally exhausting Monday. All right, so again, ease your way into the week, guys. We have a lot of action ahead of us. This is not easy conditions to navigate by any means. Okay, so respecting your stops will help you get to the other side of this. Conditions will improve after this, right? So you have to just fight to live another day. Okay, trade to trade another trade. All right, so let me take a look at how many likes we got. We will go over how to join the community. It is the last week of your stops will help. It is the last week of early bird Shockwave. So even in these conditions, it's providing those opportunities. We're out 92 likes, guys. 92 likes. All right, so make sure to like the video, guys. If we get to 150 likes by 12 o'clock, we will do the giveaway. So I'm gonna hang on to SoFi. Hang on to SoFi. So that 9 EMA, we're below 9 EMA. Everything's still trending to the downside. We are seeing buyers stepping in there off those lows. So one way out of here can be inverse head and shoulder. So we know this level is that daily open. So if we can get a nice rejection off that, find a nice little landing spot here, we can maybe take off. If we just sweep, keep in mind, guys, we swept first shift's lows. This is a mean reversion. So I'll look for that right shoulder in this territory. Okay, new shift. Okay, yep. If you guys are looking to enroll in premium, guys, premium meaning the community, make sure to go to smartactiontraining.com. We do have about 7 spots left for the monthly. IWM could do a reversal. Let's take a look. If you did purchase Shockwave today, you'll have access tomorrow. Make sure to email me or DM me your TradingView username. Okay, TradingView username. Yeah, very possible for IW. Comes into these lows. Nice little compression here. Okay, it's gonna be up to that. Can we reclaim that daily open? Everything is right on the day. Okay, so if we continue to trend to the downside, guys, if you're looking to take those trades, if you want to abide by the trend, right? You want to see synchronized shooters off EMAs. Synchronized shooters off those EMAs, okay? Synchronized shooters off those EMAs. Oh yeah, so the ways to join the premium version, guys, of the community is, so if that level doesn't hold, there's no right shoulder, we're going lower. Is go to smartactiontraining.com. Once you go to smartactiontraining.com, go to the community tab. Okay, click the community tab. Once you click that, Apex plan. This is our premier product. Access to the Discord, access to all our resources, access to swing trade ideas, day trade ideas, AI-based ideas, access to our 5.5 hour day trading options, getting started day trading options course, the live trading and training. All right. So the reason why I say training is because I'm giving you the rationale behind the setup, right? Trying to break down the rationale behind the setups. So it gives you an idea on the things to look for, and it gives you those high probability setups in real time. So, and you have access to the pre-market prep stream. So there is about 6 or 7 spots left in this tier. Use the code April. Okay, use the code April. That should save you 15%, right? And that's your monthly price. Okay, then your monthly price is $60. First month, $58. Okay, we do have a few spots left. In May, there will only be 15 spots. All right, that's it. So once first come, first serve. And that's all we can take at the current moment. All right, so I'll drop the code on YouTube. Use the code April if you want to save 15%. Okay, here's the link. There is a link. Be careful in this territory, guys. Okay, it can go either way. Even if you're right, you can be wrong. You saw the past 2 times on that, even on that Nvidia trade, we did see a little bit of green, right, 6-7%, but we're seeing them move. But those contracts were not moving. That low IV, low ATR, very tight range type of action. That's what we tend to see. Okay, so ensure not to overtrade. The first 2 hours of the day are in the books. Okay. That's how you join the community. And any strikers that are looking to upgrade to yearly, just put a me on Google Meets or a me in Discord, and I'll send you the link for the monthly special. Okay, which is the $399 one-time payment, $399 full year access. All right. So I'll send you that link. Just put me, and that is the April special for the strikers. All right. Okay, let's take a listen to our friends at CNBC. So this is what we forecasted this morning. If you tuned into our pre-market program, all right. The reason is, if you do this for long enough, if you see this enough times, you start to build an understanding of what the likely move is going to be. So this morning, it was very important for us to know. We called it the calm before the storm. Okay, why? Okay. Why? Because on this Monday, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have a storm coming up on Wednesday. Massive storm. All right. So what I mean by storm is, in this case, a lot of volatility, a lot of catalyst. On Wednesday, we have FOMC. So if we think of this like a weather forecast, all right, this is FOMC. This is Apple earnings. This is some major earnings on Wednesday. You can see Apple's on Thursday, actually. Okay, so Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Alphabet. 4 of the Mag 7 right there. Okay, they'll be reporting earnings on Wednesday, FOMC on Wednesday. All right, and on Thursday, the storm kind of dies down and Apple reports. So today we have nothing on the calendar. Okay, so we have nothing on the calendar. So the market has literally nothing to do. Unless we get some kind of news event, okay, as it pertains to the Middle East, market has nothing to do. And it starts to pick up some speed. And then the storm is here. All the action is going to be here because now, depending on what takes place by the end of the week, okay, we can either be we can either be above 7.7, we can be getting close to 720, or be all the way back down below 700 by Friday. And it's going to have to do with what takes place here. So the market has nothing to do today except just buy time. It's open just to be open. Okay? The only thing that can really impact it is some kind of news catalyst as it pertains to the Middle East. We'll probably see that in the price of crude. So far, nothing, no new developments. So what does the market do? It's going to do what it does in this kind of condition. Okay, the standard is what it's going to do. Why? There's nothing for it to do. Okay, all the stuff that's going to probably take place here is probably already priced in, right? So now it's trying to figure out what can take place after that, the reaction to what takes place there. And that's what we've been seeing all day. So grabs, traps, mean reversion, scalp conditions. So now if you come into the day with that expansion mindset, because we were expanding in the Qs last week, if you're forcing an expansion mindset, expansion-based trades, means breakout trades and continue to go. Today, all right, was not the day. Okay? If you manage that risk, you'll survive. If you don't manage that risk, you give up all the profits for the past 2 weeks because of the expansion was there. So the environmental conditions is very, very important. All right. Again, the market has no reason to do anything today. And we can clearly see that in the price action. So it's one thing to say something's going to happen, but it's another thing to see it happen. Okay, so coming into the day, we were looking for that type of movement unless proven otherwise. Okay, that's the script. Unless proven otherwise, that's the kind of move we're going to expect to see. All right, and that's how it transpired. And we can see gold pushing a little lower, crude still above that 95. VIX not doing much. The Dow falling off a cliff. They're making a run at that high. IWM coming into this interesting territory here. 50 EMA, that 50% retrace today, plus that PML. So be on the lookout for this IWM bounce. Confirmation with price action, 276.06, 276.27. Do your due diligence. If you're bearish, you want to see price break below here. Not as it comes into it, but when it clearly breaks below it and everything sells off. Right? But as we're coming into it, we can start to see maybe IW try to make a bounce off that level. Outside of that, SPY already came into its level. Made that nice little bounce going the other way. Qs came into that zone, made a nice little bounce going the other way. Trying to go the other way. Okay. So that inverse head and shoulder coming into play. That right shoulder right there. So a few minutes ago, we said, we'll look out for this. Rejection there, find a landing spot there, and a push back up. So if you're forcing expansion setups today, right, there's going to be a lot of stop outs. If you're picking and being picky for which expansion trades to take, you can find a way. But today they're rewarding the mean reversions. At what point this morning at 9 a.m. So before the action. So before we jump on YouTube, guys, I know we had a technical difficulty this morning on YouTube, right? To kick things off, we go over this stuff with our team at 9 a.m. So at 9 a.m., between 9 a.m. about 9:25, we're going over the scenarios, what we can possibly see, and how to prepare ourselves for the day. Okay? So those are some of the things that we do at that time. Who's done for the day, guys? Who's done for the day? Anyone done for the day? How are we doing, strikers? Yeah, trying to go. It's one inverse head and shoulder there. If you took that last shockwave there and the face that inverse head and shoulder, stopped out. But at some point, you have to use market context to know, to say, hey, you know what? If I'm trading a momentum indicator, there's no momentum. I have to be selective on which ones I do take. So now we're starting to go the other way, back in that hour, back in the range of that hourly candle. So you can see that inverse head and shoulder right there. You guys see it? Okay, only makes sense after the fact. Okay, so after a massive sell-off, okay, you want to look for, if you're trading reversals, you want to look for the reversal patterns. Okay, the inverse head and shoulder is not a one candle pattern. It's a structural trade. Okay. Anyone riding calls off that bounce zone? If you're riding calls off that bounce zone, you waited all that time, right? You have a nice little spot. All right, just manage accordingly, TP where you need to. Just watching until lunch. Good. Good. So that's where we are in the day. I'm going to take a quick coffee break, guys. If we can get to 150 likes, we'll do the giveaway. We will do some charts. And we will look to wrap up around maybe 12:45, 1 o'clock. Okay? In the meantime, make sure to like the video. Put your chart request in the chat. We'll go over it. Let me open up our friends at CNBC. And if you're looking to join the community on YouTube, guys, all the QR codes are on the screen, okay? QR codes on the screen, scan those codes. And let's take a listen to our friends at CNBC here. Unfortunately, it's on an ad. SoFi, let's do a check on SoFi. SoFi did appreciate nicely. That 19 got to that 19. If you took profits already, good. SoFi, the trade was, of course, here. Did see a nice appreciation when we got into that area. My first scale out came in at 25. So SoFi, I'm going to use that. Where's prior days? That's that pre-market low. So today's lows. The reason why SoFi worked out nicely today is because on the daily, guys, if you take a look at SoFi, okay, it still has not provided that opportunity we talked about. There's a couple of ways to enter SoFi. Okay, we laid that out last week. There's a trendline support entry. So you can clearly see this is what's going on SoFi. Okay, we have this taking place. Okay, I actually don't like, this is not the right one. Let me remove this. So we were talking about this nice little, if you guys recall from last week, put a me in the chat. If you were tuning in, if you were watching on YouTube, and we're discussing SoFi, put a me. All right, there's a couple of things to wait for. All right, one was, of course, the break of this is the obvious setup. That's a nice little flag setup. But this entry has not been provided yet. That break entry is not there yet. So what I was aiming for is this support entry. This support entry, which will eventually lead to that push into that resistance, which it did today. So if you took profits there, good. And that could possibly open up the door for a break of that resistance up there and a further expansion. Right, as opposed to having that entry right there. All right, so in this case, I'd like SoFi to hold that 1850. If you can hold 1850, that'd be great. Okay, so that was SoFi. That was SoFi. And here's SPY. Still trading below VWAP. A lot of back and forth. Stop out, small red. Good. Okay, Shockwave hour is in the books. Okay, we are past that Shockwave hour window. So these highs up here, we did grab these lows. Coming to that PML, we grab that. That drives us into this daily open. Right? So even earlier this morning, guys, there's a good chance we close very close to that daily open. All right, very close. There's a good chance we close very close within the ATR of that daily open. So within the ATR currently is 48 cents. So there's a good chance we close plus minus 48 cents of this daily open. Plus minus those levels. Nvidia's starting to go. Nvidia is above that VWAP. So the Nvidia reversal that we talked about earlier, it took some time to play out. And of course, in the meantime, you can take those scalps on Nvidia with that 15-minute reversal on Nvidia. Now hits the target. Okay. So now it hits the target, it's starting to go. Nvidia is still within that opening range. But if you're on Nvidia to continue to expand, it needs to get above that 210.94, which is those prior day highs. Did take Nvidia to the downside for a quick scalp. Did get stopped out. That was one of our trades for today. So it looks like Nvidia is making a solo trip on its own, slow grind higher, back to Friday's highs. Let me just make this a little more faint. Where is Nvidia going to? 210.94 could be next. After that, 212.11. And then past that, all-time highs. Oh, let me get caught up in the chat, guys. Let me get caught up in the chat. 5 trades, 4 getting up 300, done for the day. Yep, you're just getting started, Firefly. Once you start to really get comfortable with that Shockwave, once you start to really know how it works, right, and get used to it, it's gonna be awesome. So that's solid day. $300 done for the day, less than 2 hours. Apple just hugging that VWAP. Apple just hugging that VWAP. Pick the account thing, coach. We have great day, everyone. Absolutely. Trade and switch off. Good, guys. 100%. 100%. Yeah, market donation is open. All right, so. Yeah, market is taking donations. They're running their rebate program. They've actually been running their rebate program all day today. Yes, I was in the 265 strike, down 17%. Yes, 265 strike, down 17%. 226 long. 50. Messy Monday, 100%. Lynn. Yeah, it's just no follow through today. It's just hit or miss on the individual names. It's either you can catch one that works in your favor quickly, or you just get stopped out. And scalps here and there. That's it. Because the degree of difficulty on a day like today is very high. The degree of difficulty is higher, and the quality of opportunities are not there. So low quality opportunities, higher degree of difficulty. All right. So if there's nothing that you like, you don't have to take anything. Miss maybe back about view out. What's your view out seeing? 226. Currently down 12. Good. Yeah, if it's within your risk, guys, just respect your risk. Should be good to go. Okay, what is the deal? 713.27. For upside. Last view up, yeah. Took a long lotto, Nvidia, 71%. Yeah, 100%. Right. So on Mondays, it's always good to use Mondays and Fridays, right? Those are the days when you use less size. All right, because you're just getting the feel like we use Fridays, right? You're running on fumes. You've seen so much action, so many headlines. You took so many trades, so your ability to make good decisions is not at the peak level on Monday. All right, so think of Monday as, okay, you don't know what kind of pool you're jumping into. There's a body of water. You're not going to just jump in. You want to just dip your toes in first. Is the water freezing cold, or is the water boiling, or is the water room temperature? Okay, so that's your Mondays. You're just assessing the conditions in conjunction with economic calendar, earnings calendar. You're just getting a feel for the environment. All right. So now if you just dip one toe in, okay, the water is boiling. Okay, it might be a good idea for me not to cannonball into this boiling water. If it's freezing cold, okay, it might not be a good idea for me to cannonball into this freezing water. All right, you're just getting a feel for the temperature. And then the days in between, okay, you're just looking to take advantage of the action, just regular days. There's no one way to skin the trading cat. As long as you're on the same page, you can use the EMAs 100%. 100%. A bull flag on the, yep, trying. What EMA is that right there? Is that view up, your view up, or what EMA is that, JB, on your chart? That green one right there. SPY is hugging that daily open. So as flat as can be on the day. As flat as can be on the day. So even if you're right, you're wrong. Right? And that's the frustrating part. You're right from a directional standpoint, but the underlying is not moving. It just refuses to move. Okay, so the market is just waiting for something to price in, waiting for something to shake it. Just be on the lookout for some kind of headline. Outside of SoFi, I have no horse in the race. Okay, outside of SoFi, no horse in the race. Super trend, okay. Appreciate the support. So the YouTube membership, guys, that's not the Discord membership. The YouTube membership, when you join YouTube, you have access to the basic Discord. I can give you access to that, but not the premium Discord. All right, the premium Discord has a different plan, but I do appreciate you guys supporting the YouTube stream. You have access to the free tier. To the free tier. Discord channel. I'll drop that link here. I will drop that link here. SPY back above that daily open. SPY is the first one to go back to being green on the day. Okay, so check the private chat on YouTube. Okay, check the private chat on YouTube. I sent the link to the Discord there. The only thing looking nice to the upside is Google. Okay. Outside of Google, everything is just... Look at that nice push on Google. Came into Shockwave beautifully. Okay. So if you have that on your radar. No, not this one. Okay. Calls at 10:56. Goes to TP1, and now it's above that TP1, looking to get to TP2. I'd say that's probably one of the cleanest charts. Under view up, SPY. Yeah, right under that view up. Everything is just, SPY and the Qs are very close to that view up, slightly under it. Nvidia is 210.94. Okay, 210.94. Palantir, that VWAP and that VWAP reclaim 243.32 hold. Meta fell off a cliff. Okay, back below VWAP. ExxonMobil, nice nosedive as well. Google showing that strength. Nvidia, of course. TSM. Potential bear flag on TSM. Keep a close eye on that. Keep a close eye on that. Okay. Let's take a look at the poll. Poll for today. So 56% of the chat says bullish, 44% say bearish. Okay, again, guys, make sure to like the video, 12 o'clock. I'm going to check how many likes we have. We'll do a couple of tickers. If you have any ticker requests, we'll do top-down analysis on some tickers. 150 likes, we'll do the giveaway. Let's take a listen here while I go refill the coffee.
That in fact that correction's coming. I don't see the evidence in front of me right now.
All right, you often point out the momentum in the market. By the way, Jenny, I want to come over to you. Wolf out with a note talking about momentum, saying that they are on the lookout for a reversal and a 6 to 7% consolidation would not shock them. Are you focused on the momentum in the market? Or are you more looking ahead to Wednesday and even Thursday? We get Apple. So we have 5 out of the Mag 7 names reported this week. And you're laughing.
Yeah, no, because you know me. I'm like the antithesis of a momentum investor.
That's why I brought it up.
I know.
That's why I brought it up.
But it's also funny when you're like, are you looking out to the next week? No, I look out to the next 3 years. But the reality is I'm a market junkie, and I hit refresh on my screen to see the performance every 2 minutes. So I do look out to next week. And where my head is at is a little closer to Wolf's. So I think the market's run back up, and it's been ignoring nuance. And what we're going to start to get this week and next week and the week after is we're going to start to get nuance in the conversation. And I think going back to the previous highs, going back to 50,000 on the Dow and 7,000 on the S&P, it basically says all clear. And it's not thinking about the fact that there will be aftershocks. I don't know how strong they'll be. I don't know if aftershocks from the closure of the Strait of Hormuz is going to show up in 1 month, 6 months, 12 months, probably all of the above. And so where I am is I think we have lower visibility. We're back at levels that we saw pre-Iran, but there's lower visibility. I think we're leaning more now towards inflation. When you have higher inflation, and I'm not saying high inflation, I'm just saying higher inflation, you don't deserve the same multiple that you get with lower inflation. So I think there's tricky stuff out there, and I don't know if a 6 or 7% pullback is right, I'm certainly not saying bear market, but I think where you should be right now is you proceed with caution, you prepare for bumpiness, and you think with nuance. It doesn't seem like all's clear, even though the market valuation suggests it is.
You know, nuance is a great word. We got, again, mega cap tech earnings coming up later. We got Microsoft, we got Amazon, we got Meta, we got Apple. Do you think investors are going to be looking for nuance in those reports, or is it simply about a beat and a raise?
So first of all, this is one of the biggest weeks that I can remember, honestly, in my career. We've got all of these mega cap earnings. SoFi also reports earnings on Wednesday, in case anybody wants that news flash. We have 5 central banks making a rate decision this week, covering all of the G7 countries. There is so much going on. The Senate Banking Committee is voting on Kevin Warsh, right? There's so much going on in this news flow that you can't ignore some of the nuances that will come out of it. Do I think there's going to be nuance in those earnings? Of course. I mean, the people that are going to pore over the differences between where revenue is coming from and what the outlook looks like. But I also think it's interesting that we're getting all of those mega cap earnings, except for Apple, which will come later. We're getting all of those mega cap earnings on the same day as the Fed. I would expect those companies to say glowing things about revenue expectations, CapEx expectations, and just guidance for the rest of the year. I don't think anything has changed. Where the nuance is coming in is that we had this huge V-shaped recovery after the market decided we were de-escalating the war, right? And a lot of things did go up. However, it is more narrowly led than it was pre-war. We don't have the same broadness that we had before the war. And I do think the market is again reliant on technology first and foremost, and a few other sectors, communications, consumer discretionary. And to Jenny's point, there will be some backlash later in the year as an oil shock works its way through, even if we have de-escalation now. So we still have to digest that later. And I also want to make sure that we remember we get GDP this week, we get PCE this week, and the Fed is likely to get a heads up of what that PCE number looks like before it even comes out. So there's a lot going on. I think inflationary continues to be the story. I think yields continue to be the story for the rest of the year. And again, to Jenny's point, multiples are going to have to digest this higher level of yields and perhaps even higher levels of yields as we hear more about how this bakes into inflation.
All right, Steve Weiss coming over to you. By the way, Julian Emmanuel out with a note saying the historically fast S&P 500 pivot off the March lows is only comparable to 1982. Going to lean on some of your experience. Do you see the comparisons to 1982? And what are you thinking about when it comes to these mega cap tech earnings?
You know, it doesn't matter if I see the similarity to 82, because the market's changed so much, it just doesn't matter. And if we're that easy to say, well, it was like this period back then managing money would be, easy, and it's not. So the market now has over 50%, close to 60% in passive funds. That was not the case back then, it was a fraction. And there's so many changes, the algo trading, et cetera. So I don't really think that's very instructive. Now, in terms of what's going on, Liz just listed a lot of events coming up this week. I think there are two critical events. One being, the Magnificent Seven, if you want to call them that, earnings.
Okay, back. So we're seeing a nice grind back the upside above that view up on SPY. SPY, the first one to reclaim that view up. So that inverse head and shoulder played out beautifully back above that daily open. Took some time to play out, and now it's starting to catch a little bit of momentum. So let's see if we can stay above that VWAP. While SPY's above VWAP, the question becomes, do we have enough? Does Qs have enough to get above VWAP? Right? So it's just a matter of which names, which of the indexes can reclaim that VWAP. And as the SPY continues to push, we're starting to see Nvidia above that 210.94. 210.94. If you did take that, the calls above 210.94, manage accordingly. If you're waiting for Shockwave on Nvidia, you got to keep waiting. But again, that is kind of past that Shockwave hour. But that 210.94 was a nice reclaim. Outside of that 15-minute reversal, that was the second best area to get involved on Nvidia. Okay, let's see. SPY. If we have first shift highs all the way up here. Again, any high above Friday's high on SPY is an all-time high. So any high above Friday's high on SPY is an all-time high. So just keep that in mind. And now that's our first time above VWAP since our first green candle at VWAP since 10:35. Okay, so 10:35. That's what we got on SPY so far. Took the cup and handle. That was a nice cup and handle right there. Great call out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nice 10% pop. And yeah, JB, you're a ninja. Ninja with the Webull mobile trading, right? Mobile trading, that's a very important skill to have, right? Just making those trades directly off the phone. And look at that push. Beautiful call out, trade wins. Okay, good. That was a team effort right there. Team effort, great job to the team. And that's the main thing, guys. So for those of you who are on Google Meets, guys, again, the chat is active on the Discord. There's a lot of ideas being provided, lots of collective ideas, right? So bouncing ideas off one another will tremendously help. Now the Qs are above VWAP. Nvidia continues to push forward, guys. Nvidia is on the verge of making an ATH. Now let's see what's getting lifted. We're seeing Amazon try to get back above that VWAP. we're seeing Microsoft. Microsoft is an interesting one. See if Microsoft can get above that, above the opening range. See if Microsoft can do that. What a nice push on SPY. Anyone else riding SPY calls? That's a nice push. Nice push there. Again, where is it coming from? Right? This is coming from that bounce zone. Coming from that bounce zone. So during this hour, during this last hour, okay, we're starting to see some green spots. Tesla's bouncing off those lows. Tesla bouncing off those lows. Amazon's starting to bounce off those lows. And we're starting to see Nvidia regain strength. Google continue to push higher. Some activity in Caterpillar. MU starting to bounce off those lows. GE, QCOM. Nice reversal on Tesla. Tesla's starting to go. Tesla, the resurgence of Tesla. The resurgence of Tesla. Tesla did sweep prior week's lows. Tesla did provide Shockwave twice, scale out, and TP. So now Tesla looking to get back above PML. So Tesla is trading below the pre-market low, and Tesla is traded below last week's low and got bought back up. So for Tesla to make that nice push, 371.82 break. Okay, that opening range along with the PML will give you that nice little zone on Tesla. And that's moving in accordance with what the indexes are doing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. See if we got any breaking news here. Any news? Any news? Any news? Any news? Any news? Now let me have a seat here. Okay. Everything's starting to catch a bit off those lows. Last bit of news we got, Iran has reportedly submitted a new proposal to the U.S. to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end the war, and securing a guarantee will not restart. 11:57. That's the latest we got. So this is coming from Iran's side this time. Okay, Tesla's on the verge of reclaiming that pre-market low. It swept prior day's lows. It swept last week's lows. 100%. 100%. And at this point, if the strait opens up, once again, the war is over. That's like the market is already pricing in the war being over. I mean, where can we go from here? Right? So the trade might seem like, okay, the war officially gets declared over. Right? And a lot of traders might think, okay, we're going to go another 10, 20% from where we are now, but that's already priced in. "100% sell the news, possibly." Exactly. So it might be the opposite. When it's over, we might start to see a sell-off. Okay, Nvidia's above that 210.94. Let's pan over to Nvidia. So keeping a close eye at Tesla, 371.82 hold. 371.82 hold. Nvidia's break was right here, guys. 210.94. 210.93 right here. Okay, once it broke that, came back to it, bounced. Nvidia all-time high is 212.19. If you're gonna ride the waves, right? Those are available. Okay. Let's pan back over to SPY. SPY. Q's back above VWAP. See if we get that first 5-minute candle close back above VWAP. SPY making a nice push. So during this last hour, Nvidia's catching a bid. Some of those semiconductor names are catching a bid. Apple's still not doing much, grinding lower back below that VWAP. Tesla's catching a bid. Palantir, that VWAP is being put to the test, along with that prior day high. So Nvidia has a chance of making history today. Nvidia has a chance of making history today. It's about $1 and less than $1 away from all-time highs. So this would be the first all-time high in a very long time. So latest at 210.94 was our last available entry. Okay, so those contracts in that area are the ones that are being, if you got the reversal, of course, that worked nicely. But the 210.94, if we can come back into it, possibly that can give it a nice little opportunity for that bounce. That'll probably be the best way to catch that push into ATH. Once it gets into ATH, anything can happen. It can break it, continue to push. It can start to wick back above. Anything can happen. All right, so we will be watching that here. Okay, we'll be watching that. Tesla did get into that PMH, starting to reject off that PMH. Start to reject there. Okay, we're starting to see a nice little sell-off here. Nice little pullback on the one. SPY starting to get sold off. We are directional on the hourly on SPY. Okay, the bulls are in control on the hourly. For them to maintain control. Okay, they need to hold above this. Now we are starting to run out of a little bit of room up here on SPY as we come into this territory. You can see our prior interaction with that zone of all went south. Okay. So let's see what does take place here if we continue to push. Nvidia trying to pull back here slightly. So only thing at this point is the Nvidia 210.94 bounce. $210.94 bounce. Okay. Let's get the likes up, guys, on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. Make sure to like the video. Let's get the likes up. 150. We're almost there. So we have the White House Secretary briefing at the current moment. And let's pan over to that. That's not going on quite yet. But I don't usually pay attention too much, too close to it. But anything that pertains to Iran can potentially lead to a move. So we'll keep a close eye on that there. Okay, we'll keep a close eye on that there. Two 1094 bounce Nvidia. That's the only thing I'm looking at here. Okay. Okay. Starting to see some selling here. We might get back below that hourly breaker. That does coincide with that 9. Very, very shallow retest of that territory on Nvidia. About a 45-cent risk into the highs of the day or into the all-time high or into the PMH. Okay. Okay, that's what I'll look for. See if we can get that within the next few minutes here. Let's see if we can get that in the next few minutes. Okay, let's get that nice little push. I like how the index is starting to sell off slightly. SPY is selling off slightly. The Q's back at VWAP. The Q's have been the ones kind of stuck in the mud today. All right, the Qs have been the leaders for the past, I'd say the past few weeks, all right, even as far as last week with the semis being held up, right? But today they're stuck in the mud. Some profit taking we're seeing take place. If you are riding the waves on SPY, wave for wave, we'll talk about all those things, okay? So in the boot camp, we're going to talk about, of course, the setups I like to use, okay, how to ride the waves. How to ride the waves. To ride waves. We're going to talk about the 5 for 5. 5 for 5. We're going to talk about the 50-50. 50-50 is a different type of two 50-50s. There's two. We're going to talk about lots of different things in the boot camp. All right, so when you do tune into the stream, you know exactly what steps to look for. All right, so that's coming up in May. All right, so I will make that announcement next week. And this is the scalp mastering scalping on SPY. And that's going to be coming up, and I can't wait for that to take place. Wow. TradeStation has serious glitch problems, weird stuff. Lost 2 trades, was green and closed the trades, turned red into account. Waiting for phone. Yeah, definitely have to contact support. And that's why I always say, guys, it's always good to record your screen as well. Right? Record your screen. Sometimes when you're trading, if you do have the option to record your screen, get into the habit of recording your screen, because if you do take those massive losses, you can show the broker, hey, you know what? This is what took place. All right, yeah, definitely call them. The boot camp is going to be available to the public, but it's going to be first come, first serve. All right. It's going to be available to the public. We'll take about 10 to 15 students at a time. We'll run the boot camp maybe. I want to run this a little more frequently, maybe every 2 weeks. Okay, this one is not as long as the getting started. The getting started day trading course, my objective was to take everyone who has a little bit of knowledge about the stock market, right? But getting them up to speed from zero to market ready, getting ready to trade, getting familiar with the concepts, getting familiar with technical analysis, getting familiar between the dynamic of buyers and sellers, the fundamentals of trading, what is options trading, the psychology, the pitfalls, the ways to mitigate the pitfalls, all those things. Okay, so the first cohort of traders we're looking to serve are the ones who have zero to beginner experience. That was my primary focus. Now we're doing the boot camp. So this boot camp, the scalping boot camp, can you trade? Can you take it if you have zero experience? You can, but it might not make a lot of sense, and it might make you think that you can just take trades based on what you're seeing, but you don't know what you don't know in that case. So there's going to be a knowledge gap. All right, so this is going to be for the intermediate to advanced. Okay, intermediate to advanced traders that are looking to learn about scalping. Okay, so this took about 5.5 to 6.5 hours. The boot camp. This one will take about 2. Okay, between 2 hours, within 2 to 3 hours. All right, so we can run this one more frequently, and to get traders up to speed. All right, so this is a good prerequisite for this. So if you have not taken the Getting Started Day Trading course, Strikers, you have access to it. It comes with your plan. I highly recommend taking this before signing up for this. Okay. And then after that, we'll have more boot camps coming up. We're just docking each silo, each category, and checking the box on each of those categories one by one. Okay. That's going to be our approach. And I look forward to releasing that and working with everyone that does sign up for it. All right, but you guys will be made aware when that's available. So May will be available in May. Okay. So bootcamp, Nvidia, if Nvidia can pull back here, that'd be great. Nvidia still has a little bit of strength, is riding those EMAs. If I can just get one little breakdown of this structural support into those lows, that'd be great. Right, get that structural support break, that'd be great. And then we continue to push to the downside and then correct. That'd be nice for us to take advantage of. If not, we'll be done for the day. More than likely, if SPY continues to grind higher, Nvidia is going to use these EMAs, the waves, into that all-time high. Right, SPY comes to that second part of the wave. Okay, it starts to break. So structural breaks what we need. Interestingly enough, we're seeing the Qs stuck in the mud. Right, they're right at that VWAP. See if Tesla can peak above that 371.82 decisively, get a nice little close. Nvidia is trying to make that run to ATH. First time in a long time for Nvidia. First time in a long time. Okay, now we're above those highs, 713, the 713.80s. I might have to pan over to Nvidia here. And take it from there. So does Nvidia make all-time highs today? Put in the chat. Yes, no. The polls are still there. Sometimes I just forget to do the polls. We can do the poll today. I didn't abolish the pulse. I like that word. 266.70, 266.71 ish. That's for Apple trade wins. Still looking for a nice little, yeah, if I can get a nice little push. Apple is at that 200 EMA on the hourly. Apple at that 200 EMA on the hourly. So if that can bounce off that, that'd be great. If we can bounce off that, that'd be great. So 200 EMA bounce on Apple. Let me take a look at Apple here. Apple. I'll show you on the big chart here. So Apple, that 200 EMA needs to hold on the hourly. Okay, Apple's actually right here. So that there's an inverse head and shoulder possibly brew on Apple here. Okay, if it can hold above that 200 EMA, and that might be what you need. Okay, that might be the last bet. All right, if that can hold, that'd be great. Okay, Nvidia's out of here, guys. Nvidia just made all-time highs. Nvidia, all-time highs. Nvidia, all-time highs. History in the making for Nvidia. All-time highs on Nvidia. There it goes. Nvidia, all-time highs. Nvidia has officially joined the party. That bounce off that 210.94 was the last way to get in there. Okay, so if we go to Nvidia, if you remember Nvidia on the 15, that 15-minute reversal, look what happened. This thing just went right off of that. 209.40. Okay, Nvidia, all-time highs. Okay, it joins the party. Nvidia has joined the all-time high party. The next one is, guys, Google. Google's all-time high is 352.12. Okay, so you saw it here first. Nvidia, all-time highs. If you took that with a late day shockwave outside of that window, that's going to give you that signal. But it's outside that window. Look at the Qs. Qs reclaiming that VWAP. Tesla, beautiful reclaim on Tesla above that 371.82. The usual suspects are starting to move. Google about to make an all-time high. Nvidia is just going, guys. Nvidia is just going. Anyone holding Nvidia? Anyone take Nvidia team? Anyone take Nvidia? Don't chase, all right? Apple wants to spotlight. Not going to do anything today because everything is. Apple's trying to bounce there, see if we can get a nice little bounce. Nvidia all-time highs. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So I'm just letting you know what's taking place. Okay. We're calling it as we see it. Anaya 350. Oh, you got that, Maurice? Beautiful. Long's on Nvidia. Long's on Nvidia. SPY on the clock too, guys. SPY has a chance to make all-time highs. Nvidia, we're gonna pay attention to Nvidia here. Look at that candle. Nvidia's at 213.31. $213.31. Yeah, 100%. They just jumped into Nvidia. Everyone's piling in. If you are going to try to catch Nvidia, late entry, at least wait for that 9. Okay? The latest, wait for that 9. And you can think of that as a high risk lotto because it is at all-time highs. If you're already in, if you took it earlier, you're laughing to the bank. But look how long it took to play out, right? It took multiple hours to play out. Multiple hours to play out. SPY's coming up next. SPY just riding those highs, grinding and riding those highs, riding the wave. Nvidia's pumping. SPY's starting to go. SPY's starting to go. Great job, Jamie. And that's the 9 on the 1. If you're waiting for the 5, PMH. So in this case, this is the 9 on the 1. So in this case, it's just a 1 candle combo. Okay, comes into it, closes, hammer, boom, other side, 1 for 1. We're above prior shift highs as well. We're expanding above these highs on SPY. So as long as we stay above those highs, more than likely all the names that are pushing higher are going to push higher. Tesla, nice break on Tesla above 371.82. Continues to push. So this might look like it's just a small window, but this is 64 cents. Okay, 64 cents. Just 1 minute pullbacks. That's it. 1 minute pullbacks. Nvidia did hit a TP1. Yeah, Google was beautiful. Tesla's starting to wake up as well, guys. Tesla and Nvidia are carrying. Tesla was above that 371.82. Decisive push above it. So as Nvidia works to this level here, SPY needs to bounce off this level. Prior shift highs. If it can do that, more than likely Nvidia will bounce. If it turns into a mean reversion, if it turns into a nice little trap, gets above that, it starts to get back below 713.88, we can start to see Nvidia slide a little more. So synchronized bounce is what's needed. Tesla and Nvidia are carrying. %20 on Nvidia. Beautiful job, real quiet. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, great job, great job, great job. 215 Nvidia, very possible. So what I got here on Nvidia. Okay, this was the 15-minute idea, of course. Okay, so we came into this territory, we bounced, we came into this rejection zone. All right, and now we're above this rejection zone in Nvidia. We're above this 212.03, 211.03, 212.39. So at some point in time, the more time I spend above here, all right, it's going to turn to support. Okay, so now that 215 is right above us. Okay, 215 is right there. So we still need to do another push for about $2 and $2 and some change. Right? It's very possible. It's very possible to get to it today. It's within arm's reach. But more than likely, we need an all-time high on SPY to accommodate us to those highs. Okay, Nvidia start first pullback on Nvidia. First pullback on Nvidia on the 5. First pullback on Nvidia on the 1. If we get that bounce off of that, we could potentially go compression, downward compression, and then a break. SPY needs to hold that level as well. 5-minute candles inside on Nvidia. Okay, see if you get a nice little bounce, simultaneous bounce across those two. If you're waiting for the 5, that 5 is still inside. Okay, that 5 minutes inside on Nvidia, that 15 minutes inside as well. So I have a new 15, we have a new 5. So you get that nice hold there. If you're going 1 for 1, this is your trigger. Okay, nice break and hold above that 213.19, and there's your stop. Okay, if you're going 1 for 1, tight risk. You want to see that push take place right away. That's what it looks like. Okay. Bounce off that 213.05 on Nvidia. Anyone catch that 213.05 bounce? Simultaneous bounce, okay, synchronized bounce with SPY, so you need SPY to hold that level. I don't have a horse in the race outside of SoFi here. Again, this is still buying Nvidia very close to the highs, but I would say this is better to buy it here than to chase it all the way up there. If you had to buy it somewhere, all right? If you want to wait, you're going to have to wait for at least PMH, at least dead upside breaker. Okay. So in this case, it breaks above those highs, right? If you're able to extract, you can. If not, it gets stopped out. because now we're starting to fade. Apple is actually trying to bounce off that 200 EMA. So Apple, that 15-minute candle, we did go inside. Almost going to go 212 on that 15. So we're in the jaws of the wave on Nvidia here. It's going to be based on what SPY does with this level. On the 5 on Nvidia, we are directional to the downside on the 5. That 9 test on the 5 is all the way here. Okay, so nice little compression here. Okay. Q still pushing. So this is our first pullback on Nvidia after making all-time highs. So we're in the jaws of the waves here. If we can get above those highs, I'll take Nvidia. All right, for a quick scalp, very small size there. Contracts are lotto territory, those 215s. If you go in the money, the 115s are there as well. Okay, I'll take the 215s right there. Nvidia. Risk being here. So let's see if Nvidia, very late to the party. So we need this thing to start to move quickly. Risk being 212.77. Risk being 212.77. So no close below here. And this is going to be into more all-time highs. All right, so here, close below here. Stopped out. So either go back to new all-time highs or stop me out here. And that'll be the last trade of the day here. And that'll be also as a good lotto trade as well. Okay. Very late to the party. See if there's a little more party left. Of course, this entry is no longer available. Okay, this entry is no longer available. So at least we can say, got something, small piece of Nvidia back to the upside into ATH. Up 6. Okay, do take profit where you need to. Those contracts are very volatile. Just keep that in mind. For us to get in the money, they need to go all the way there. And there's zeros as well. Okay, so no close here. No close there. On the 5, that somewhat translates to a 9 EMA test. Shakeout behavior 100%. This is 100%. And this is Nvidia very overextended. We're just buying it on that first initial pullback. If it closes below there, then got to get out of there. Okay. Got to get out of there. So stopped out there. So nothing available. It did see a little bit of a push. If you're waiting for that 9, might be there. All right, so it's down more than 25% on those lottos and got below here. So there was nothing more to do. And SPY is starting to pull back as well. So at some point in time, it's going to give this resistance a run for its money. Okay, at some point in time. Any questions before I wrap up, guys? Any questions, any questions, any questions? Dump for the day, 229% profit on Nvidia. Thank you. Beautiful job, Judith. That's probably the entry, that earlier entry. Beautiful job on being patient. Well earned. So that kind of profit on Nvidia can only come from, it's not going to come from that scalp. It's going to come from something like this. Okay. So probably in this area. All right, so Judith's trade probably came in this area, those calls, right? So she had to wait this entire time. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. That's 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. Right? How many 15-minute candles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 15-minute candles. 6 15-minute candles. So no show on Nvidia for that scalp. Back to ETH. Very, very tight window, 1 for 1. So 1 minute break, 1 minute risk. And it was predicated on SPY holding here, right? If the SPY can hold here, that'd be great. If it can't, more than likely, Nvidia will start to pull back into a cleaner area where you have a key level. Okay. After upgrade in Discord, trade days or swing call or puts will be, published there. Yes. So all of our ideas will be published there. The delay-free, ad-free streamers there on YouTube. There's a delay. So our first swing trade of the month was SoFi. So we did see SoFi get upwards of 35+% today. Okay, I already took a majority off at 20% plus. And seeing if I can get more out of it. And here was SoFi's idea. Okay, this is posted on 4/23. Okay, so I gave you the best case scenario, good case, sideways, bear case. Okay, so the outcomes, the rationale, some levels that you need to pay attention to, the next resistance levels, the next support levels, all those levels to pay attention to, and the quality. So the reason why I gave it an 8 out of 10, that's the ranking that I gave it, is because there's a couple of things I was looking at. Okay, so that was the last idea. Okay. Okay, so SPY, nice dump there. Off-topic question: Does your screen computer setup matter? For what? For the indicator. So nice mean reversion once again above those highs, right? That bounce didn't last. We fell back below it. Okay. Okay, made the right decision. Nice. Can we find more details on the available courses, membership plans, details and description? Don't provide enough. Yep, we can go over that right before. We're going to wrap up the stream here, guys, at 1 o'clock. We're going to go over how to join. Trading in general, how many charts you have up. So for me, I have this chart up. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, three charts here on YouTube. And then I have another 3 charts here on the left side of my screen, which is available to our members, right? And this SPY, QQ, DII, WM, and the current individual name we're paying attention to. And then on top of that, I have 8 charts up, okay, the Elite 8. And I have an additional 6 charts up because I have 3 screens. Okay, but those 8 I do pay attention to from time to time, but primary focus is right here. Right, I just kind of get a gauge of what's moving, what's not, for the purposes of Shockwave, like how we were able to identify Nvidia, how we were able to identify Tesla. Those are the usual suspects. Okay. Okay, let's go over how to join the community, how to join, for those of you just jumping in, guys. So we did take 2 trades on Nvidia, both trades on Nvidia stopped out. We did, before that, we did take a trade on SPY to the downside. Nice catch there. We did get stopped out on Apple. We did manage our position on SoFi. I'd say the best trade of the day was Meta. Right, Meta was probably the best trade of the day. Meta and SPY. So 1 trade on SPY, 2 trades on Nvidia, 1 trade on Meta, 1 trade on Apple. Okay, so ways to join the community. Okay, smartactiontrain.com. I'm going to put the QR codes on the screen to make it easier for you. You can scan the QR code, it'll take you direct to the site. Okay, there you go. Those are the QR codes. All right. So again, how do you join? What do you have access to? You have access to the following. All right. Our Discord, live trade, screen share, pre-market prep stream every single morning, live trading, extended coverage into the close, high win rate ideas, options flow data, AI-based trade ideas and alerts, options beginner course, 2,500 plus hours of video training, my ebook, 24/7 stock market newsfeed, day trade, swing trade ideas, as well as, of course, serious supportive community of traders. All right, we have traders from all walks of life, all different experience levels, coming together, sharing their ideas, sharing their insights, and helping one another. All right, you can see one of our great captains always posting things on Apple. All right, nice clean chart. Okay, so you have access to our community. This is what the Discord looks like, and the Apex plan is the way. All right, so if you're interested in the Apex plan, scan the code, use the code April. April, that'll save you 15% off your first month. If you're looking to lock in for the year, you can do that as well. Okay, 12 months access, 1 payment. 12 months access, 1 payment. This would be the best way to get your bootcamp ticket as well. So this includes a bootcamp ticket. This includes a coaching call. And this includes 12 months of access to the community for 1 payment. So you pay once, you have access for 12 months. All right, so this is the price for folks on YouTube. Again, if you're looking to take advantage of that, that's an absolute steal. You have access to all those tools. For the ones who are in the Discord, if you're looking to upgrade by the end of the month, guys, before the month ends, just type me, okay? Because that also, your yearly access comes with the bootcamp. Comes with a bootcamp ticket and a coaching call. All right, so if you're looking to upgrade, make sure to do so. All right, you just let me know, and I'll send you a different link that has a special price for our members. All right, so that's the way you join the community, okay? So that's where you join, use the code April. Nvidia is starting to move now. And of course, if you're looking to get your copy of Shockwave, our latest and greatest indicator, and you're looking to take advantage of the opening price. Okay, when the market opens up, have a structured plan, clear levels, and built-in risk guidance. This is the best indicator to get. All right, it does all the heavy lifting for you, so you can focus on the execution. You have access to a one-time payment. So a lot of the people that did purchase this, if they've had it for more than 2 weeks, okay, they probably already covered their cost basis and some. Okay, that's the objective. All right, so the ROI is there. All right, so if you trade the system, trade it to a T, watch the videos properly, attend the webinars, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. All right, so make sure to take advantage of that and make your purchase of the indicator. Once the end of the week comes in, once it's a new month, guys, the indicator is going all the way back up to its original price. Okay, that's also an absolute steal, 828. Okay, that's also an absolute steal because it's not you have access to it once or you have access to it for a month only. You have access to it for the entirety of your trading career. Okay, so it is literally the golden goose. Okay, the golden goose, and it continues to provide those opportunities to you. All right, in the case of Nvidia, all right, the 5-minute 212 came into play. That 1 minute did not come into play, but that 5 played out a little more nicer. But the question becomes now, can it even, okay, hold above that 9, continue to push higher after breaking the downward compression? All right, so eventually it did start to go back the upside. Of that 9. And those are the ways to join the community. So scan the codes. If you're on the indicator, scan the code. If you want to join the community, scan the code. The code is available on the screen. And use the code April. That will save you 15% off. And once the spots are filled, guys, for the month of May, for the month of April, they are filled. All right. Then May enrollment will come around. We'll have 15 spots available for that month. And we're only taking 15 students at a time and opening up more spots based on churn. If anyone does decide to leave, then we'll open up that spot. Okay, outside of that, we're going to provide everything else on YouTube, and we're going to stick to the community that we stick to the numbers that we do have at the current moment. Okay, so hopefully that shed some light for you guys who did have that question. If you have any other questions, let me know, guys. We'll work on the free version. It works on the free version. It works on the paid version. Whatever version of TradingView you have, the indicator works. Okay, the only difference is if you're looking to trade SPY, of course, the data on the free version is real-time SPY, but the data on the paid version, on the free version, is delayed on the future side of things. Okay, so outside of that, the free version does give you the real-time price of SPY. So it will work on the free version. You just have to deal with the ads that come in at the bottom of that screen. That's it. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Yeah, Lightspeed. I heard good things about Lightspeed as well. Tesla's gone, guys. Tesla is out of here. Above that 371.82. So today required that patience. So we do start at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. As we head into the summer months, guys, we're going to start to make the show back to the original time, or as usually from 9:30 to 11:30. And then from 11:30, we extend the stream for the members, all right, all the way until 1 o'clock. All right, so we will return back that schedule soon, but in the meantime, just yes, so we do this every single day, guys. Every single day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. All right, so you got to be here early, and we'll be here. All right, so this is your go-to channel, and this is our I believe we're coming in on our 80th day. 80th. Okay, so let's take a look at the levels from today. Okay, so game plan from today. So again, I send this out every single morning. Now this was the bounce zone: 711.33, 712.58. Rejection zone up there. So we came into these lows, we grabbed those lows, we started to go. All right, this was the zones. This was the bounce zone, rejection zone, and some of those key levels. All right, so all of this is provided to you, right? So you can use this in conjunction with the things you do already. But I would highly, highly emphasize, okay, on those key levels and those zones. Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up? Any other questions, guys? Strikers, any questions? Okay, let's take a look at how many likes we got. If we're at 150, we'll do the giveaway. If we fall just a little short, we'll try again tomorrow. Okay. We will try again tomorrow. I know we can get it done. We can get it done. We have over 1K people tuning in daily. All right, so it's very doable. It's just a matter of just hitting the like button. That's all that it requires. That is all it requires. We are at 122. Okay, just shy. About 18 likes short today. Okay, so on that note, guys, thank you for tuning in as always. It's always an honor and a privilege for you guys to tune in. Hopefully you guys are finding value from the program. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to join us tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Same time, same place. We're looking to take advantage of the best opportunities. If you're still trading, be careful trading, guys. If you're still in the trenches, manage accordingly. If you're done for the day, make sure you're done. Tomorrow, new opportunities await. So make sure to do the best thing possible. All right. If you're done, be done, guys. This action is very, very choppy. On that note, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, and God bless each one of you.